On Sports 1440.
Yusanitov deep in his zone. To the blue line. Yusanitov, another look across the floor. Does he do it?
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Curry hit three, but that's it. Driving for it. Curry from about three. Put up a three. On shot for the ages. From a player for the ages.
A lovely, positive Friday. How are you? Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province of Alberta at PlayAlberta.ca. Man, do we have lots to discuss on the show today. So I like looking at some numbers because then to me, you know what? You can make your own opinion. I'll just present the numbers to you. Now, some people, they don't want their opinion to change, and that's fine because basically everybody keeps repeating the same thing, so everybody just assumes it's true. Now, can goaltending be better? I've said it 1,000 times. Yeah, it can be better. But for anybody who thinks it's just goaltending, I'm sorry, you're not paying attention. And here's the easy statistics to tell you why. So last season, when Chris Knobloch took over, he coached the final 69 games. The Edmonton Oilers defensively ranked second in high danger chances against off the rush. They also ranked second in 5-on-5 odd man rush chances again. Now, these are high danger ones that are expected goals, right? Because you can have an odd man rush and you miss the pass. Well, obviously that's not a high danger chance because it goes into the corner, right? So they were second in both categories. Oh, and guess what? Stuart Skinner had pretty good numbers under that system, like most goalies do. The better the environment, better chance you have. Now, you want your goalies to save you sometime, but as we saw from Hellebuck in the playoffs, goalie can't save everything, even the best in the league. So they were second and second. Just keep those numbers in mind. This year, the Oilers are 18th off the rush, 5-on-5, and 17th in odd man chances off the rush. So from second and second to 17th and 18th. Okay, they played 65 games. They played 69. Pretty close. Since January 1st, you want to know where they are? How about 25th in high danger chances off the rush and 30th in odd man rush chances? 30th. And everybody's just like, oh, it's a goalie. It's a goalie. What? Like, what? Did you see the game last night? How many odd man rush chances did Stuart Skinner save? 3. And I'm not even including the one in the first shift of the game where you had Nosen coming down the right side. He goes over to Meyer. Meyer can't handle the pass, and he pushes it back to Heischer. He doesn't get much on it. I'm not even including that one. That was first shift of the game. It's 1-0, and Stuart Skinner made 2 huge saves. Now, how many odd man rush chances do you think the Oilers had on Jake Allen last night? Any guesses? You watched the game. Did you rewatch it like I did this morning? Painfully, I'll be honest. It was painful because I was doing a lot of research for my article. And guess what? How about none? And I would like to say, had Stuart Skinner allowed the Evan Bouchard goal, Oilers Nation would have been going crazy. People were mad about the second and some people, I should say, were mad about the second and third goals that New Jersey scored, which were through, though the first one was a great layered screen by the Devils, something the Oilers are allergic to doing in the offensive zone. When was the last time you saw the Oilers have a layered screen? Anytime? I'll get into more of that in a second. So the Oilers defensively, last year under Knobloch, really good. And now they've reverted back to below average and actually terrible since the calendar turned to 2025. So you want to go get Connor Halley? Great. his numbers are going to come down if he has to play behind this defensive structure. It's just a fact. The numbers don't lie. If you continually give up that many, right, you're not going to win. It's that simple. Did the Devils gift the Oilers a lot of chances last night? Nope. Jake Allen was good, but he sure wasn't great. Like, I know everybody's talking about, the third period, though. They outshot them 19-6 and got outscored 2-1. That's just not good enough. Well, then let's go through it, because that's a great point. So, first of all, you look at the 2 goals the Devils scored. Do you really blame the goalie? Honestly, do you blame the goalie on layered screens? I don't. It's a good play. It happens. Maybe he gets one. But if you're going to blame him on one, how do you not blame Jake Allen for the Bouchard goal? There was a stick. People thought maybe it got deflected. It didn't get deflected. That was it. There wasn't a layered screen. There wasn't lots of bodies in front of him. And that's fine. Sometimes you don't see every play. But did you know in the third period, out of the 19 shots, how many of them do you think came within 20 feet of the net? How about 2? One of them was an Adam Henrique deflection off a point shot. So the original shot actually wasn't distance, but once it's a deflection, then that's when it counts as a shot distance, because that was the last stick to touch it. And that was on his first shift of the third period. Then he had the rebound chance, came from 9 and 5 feet. That's it. Those are the only 2 shots the entire period within 20 feet of the net. No other deflections, nothing else. And you're going to tell, they had all these shots, though. I'll give you the shot distance from the defenseman. 66, 66, 69, 60, 59, 53, 51. Closest was 28. No traffic in front. So you can get hung up and just look at the shot clock, or you can look at the game like I did today and went back through every shot in the third period and say, how many of those were really good chances? How many of them were second chances? 1. The Henrique, 2.5 minutes in. That's it. No other ones. No second chances at all. Now, Nugent Hopkins in the did have a few with the goalie pulled against Buffalo the other game. But I went back through the order because everyone's like, well, the orders, you know what? They're out shooting him. God, it's got to be goaltending because they're out shooting him. Because sometimes people will just look at the stats and they think that tells a story, but it doesn't. So I'm going to tell you the story, because where's the high danger chances? The closer you are to the net majority of the time. Now, if you have layered screens, sure, that makes it harder. Nothing's set in stone, but the vast majority come from closer in. Now, if you got one hand on your stick and you just pushed in, of course, that's not the same as a one-time clapper farther distance. But go back. You can watch the third period. Now, you might not want to. It's pretty painful, but you could watch it. And I will tell you, there wasn't any of it. And then you go back to even the Buffalo game. So the Oilers, in both games, they outshot the opposition by 11 shots. 34-23 on Monday, 33-22 last night. So out of those 67 shots, 9 of them came within 10 feet of the net. And 5 of them were on like bang-bang plays. The 2 from Henrique that I outlined, and then Nugent Hopkins had 3 of them in a span of about 6 seconds in the final 20 seconds of that game against Buffalo. None of them were great chances, but he was there trying to bang away, and that happens sometimes. So outside of those 5, they had 4 the rest of the game. 4. So that is a grand total of 13.4% of their shots come within 10 feet. Buffalo, New Jersey, 20% of their shots came within 10 feet. So they're already ahead. Now let's go 10 feet, 11 feet to 20 feet. Still pretty good high danger chance. The Oilers had a total of 7 from there. That's 10.4%. And again, Buffalo and New Jersey had 9, 20% of their totals. And they scored once. So Buffalo and New Jersey combined in 2 games for 18 shots from within 20 feet, rebounds, and they scored 3 goals. The Oilers had 16 shots, no goals. So 23% of the Oilers shots are from within 20 feet compared to Buffalo and New Jersey combining for 40%. So where are the Oilers giving up chances? Not only off the rush, in close. And they're not penetrating. Like, I don't expect Draisaitl and McDavid to be doing layered screens. Maybe a little bit with Hyman. But what the hell are the depth forwards doing? Like, are you kidding me? How many of them would need a map if their name's not Corey Perry, and to a lower level, Adam Henrique, a map on where the net is and to get traffic in front of it? Right? They're not going to score the tic-tac goal. They don't have one-timers. Like, Arvidsson scored once all year on a one-timer. He's not Leon Draisaitl. How often do you see the Oilers in the offensive zone, layered screens, hammering home at rebounds? How often? Honestly, ask yourself. Now, exclude Zach Hyman and Corey Perry from that equation. Other teams can do it. It's not happening at all. Offensively, last night, I thought in New Jersey, they took the easy way out, and the Devils were like, hey, you guys want to shoot from here? Like, what's the point of having point shots from 50 feet away if there's no traffic in front? What's the point? You know, you might get one lucky goal out of every 60 or 80 shots, maybe. But you continue to do that, so the shot clock, it looks good. If people who still believe in Corsi, oh, that's great. But it's not helping you. And I'm sorry, because I need to see the formula. But anyone suggesting that New Jersey, the Oilers had way more high-danger chances than the Devils last night, I question it strongly. Please show me each chance. I would like to see each chance that says that they had that many. Because I rewatched the game today, and there is no chance that was the case. None. So the Oilers, they got to regroup tonight. And honestly, I don't care if Janmark comes in, whatever. At this point, it's like moving around the deck chairs in the Titanic. Are you sitting close to the edge? Oh, geez, I'm 2 feet in. I might be safer. They need the vast majority of their offense to get going. And that includes their top guys, not named Draisaitl. All right. They need more from McDavid. They just do. Now, I know he had 2 assists last night, and you know what? Second player ever to have 9 consecutive. That's awesome. But you just look at by his standards, his numbers are down significantly by his standards. Even just being on the ice for goals, 4 goals against, got to improve. So every facet of their team game. But if anybody wants to try to tell you that it's just goaltending and that it was goaltending again last night, or that it's only been goaltending since January 1st, all the numbers will argue different. The most goals scored in the NHL come off the rush. And the Oilers are 30th in odd man rush chances against and 25th in high danger chances off the rush, where they were second in both last year. And the easiest example to use, and because someone will say, well, your goalie's got to make a save. Okay. How about this one for you? So this season, because people like to say, well, the Oilers goalies never give them a chance to win. How many games, Connor Halley, do you think the Oilers have allowed 2 goals or less this season?
2 or less, 25.
28.
All right.
So do you know how many Florida's allowed?
No.
30. Colorado, 31. Minnesota, 30. Carolina, 30. Vegas, 32. Now, the one team that's way up, Dallas, 33. Winnipeg, they're kind of the high one at 37. So there's our 28. Do you know how many games they've scored 4 goals or more? 27. So you have a team that most people would agree offense is their calling card. That's their bread and butter. They've had more games where they allow 2 goals or less than they've had games where they score 4 goals or more. The Oilers' record when they allow 2 goals or less, 26-1-1. Not a surprise. You know, all the playoff teams, Carolina's 29-1, Florida's 28-2, Colorado's 27-2-2, or Tampa Bay's 27. So you look at Edmonton, they've got 26 wins. Minnesota has 26 wins. Tampa 27, LA 27, Colorado 27, Florida 28, Carolina, Vegas, even Washington 29. Like, are you telling me that it's, oh my God, the goaltending's so horrific, but they're only, 28 games, not much lower than all the other playoff teams, except Winnipeg. They're way up there at 37. So they're down between 2-4. So now let's go to all the playoff teams and count how many times they score 4+ goals. The Oilers, 27 times. Vegas, 27. Toronto, 27. Florida, 29. Tampa Bay, 31. Dallas, 33. Carolina, 30. Colorado, 31. Washington, 32. Winnipeg, 32. So again, outside of one outlier in Winnipeg, the Oilers are within 4 to 5. I actually can go from within 2 to 5 of the top teams, whether it's 4+ goals or 2 goals against or fewer. So are there some games where the Oilers, you know what, they have a bad game? Yes. And I know that a lot of people are talking about the save percentage. Well, here's what I'll say about save percentage. So the Oilers give up fewer shots at times. But if you allow 2 goals on 20 shots or 2 goals on 18 shots, does it matter? Unless those extra 2 shots are like grade A scoring chances, they're just 2 extra shots that in most cases are savable. So you have a 900 save percentage or you have an 889. One looks way better, but really doesn't impact the game that much. So if you're a team that gives up a few more extra kind of easy shots, the goalie's like, all right, great, boom, kick that in the corner. Got a few extra points on my save percentage. But it's really your goals against. Save percentage doesn't win you games. Goals against wins you games or loses you games. And the Oilers are 15th in goals against this year. Not great, right? Average. I'd like it to be better, for sure. But it's not just goaltending. When you look at their defensive numbers, like they're 15th in goals against, they're 18th in high danger chances off the rush, they're 17th at odd man chances off the rush, kind of where you expect, right? Even lately, their penalty kill since January 1st. So it's not off the rush, but they're 25th in high danger chances there. So if you're 25th and 25th and 30th, and everybody says they don't have an elite goalie, how do you expect your goalie to have good numbers? I don't understand it. Everybody says the goalie's not good. They don't believe he's very good, but then they expect him to be great behind a system right now that's playing terrible. Someone help me make it make sense, because I don't understand it. How can you say that the Oilers it's all goaltending if you say the goalie isn't good and then the team defense is terrible? Well, how's he supposed to be good if you don't think he's good and the system's that bad? So, and the other thing last night, so the Oilers get the lead. Bouchard scores a goal. They get probably a little bit of a lucky goal there. Right? I'm sure Jake Allen would watch the replay. He would tell you he should make that save. And then after that goal, Oilers generated nothing for the next bit. Nothing. Kind of a turnover in the neutral zone, mishandling the puck. Led to New Jersey coming in the other way. First line against fourth line, back of the net. Layered screen. That's their first line, by the way. Layered screen. So you can't tell me that even the top guys every now and then could set up a layered screen if they wanted to. So we're going to talk a lot about it today, but the Oilers say, I'm telling you, they got to wake up. All areas of their game. And their coach, please stop always having to go to Draisaitl and McDavid. It was a 0-0 game in the first period. The Oilers hadn't given up very much. They hadn't generated much, and you still went to them. Why? Now you're basically saying we got one chance out of every 4 shifts to score a goal. That's it. Knobloch's he's got to be more patient and not just go to McDavid, Draisaitl all the time. If you want to do it after the penalty kill, I think it's great. You want to do it maybe the final shift of the period because you think you got momentum? Sure. You want to do it in the last 10 minutes if you're down a goal? Totally understand. It's a 0-0 game, 10 minutes into the game, and you're going to it right away? Why? You got a bunch of other guys who couldn't score to save their life. And now you're saying, well, geez, in order to get McDavid going, he's got to play with Leon Draisaitl. Leon Draisaitl has been scoring all year long without McDavid. So the coach he didn't get sucked into it last year. He's getting sucked into it this year. And I think it's got to change. We got a loaded show for you today. 833-401-1440. Butch Goring is going to join us right away. Talk about the Islanders. Actually did pretty well for themselves at that trade deadline. Getting a pretty good young prospect. They're kind of in the playoff push, but I don't think they are. Lorianne Muenzer will join us. We'll talk about, hey, when things are down, it's easy to quit. Anybody can quit. That's the easiest thing to do in sports. It's really the easiest thing to do in life. It takes no effort to just say, I'm out. No effort. Anybody can do it. It's hard when you're struggling to keep pushing through and telling yourself, hey, you know what? We're better than this. And that's where the order's got to get to. Spec will be by. We got Craig Button coming up at 4 o'clock. We got the 2-minute warning with Tater and much, much more in a busy Friday edition of the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game at PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, it is Friday, and you know what that means. Lotto Max. Tonight, $40 million. Get your ticket at PlayAlberta.ca.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
I take possession of my commercial space in 3 months. I need lighting. I need a fire alarm. I need data. I need a generator. I need panels.
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Projects team reporting. We design, build, and construct all the electrical systems for your projects. Need everything to work right? Get the Action Electrical project team on your site.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
For the next hockey game, you can have your say with the Sports 1440 postgame show. This is your host, Andrew Walker. Join us and give your takes on the game, good or bad. It's all brought to you by the Ridge Social Eatery in St. Albert. The postgame show on Sports 1440.
You got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Looking at the Alberta weather forecast, wild, unpredictable, brutally tough.
When the weather turns tough, Titan Supply doesn't back down. Titan Supply has been protecting workers from conditions like this for 50 years. We stand tall with you against the elements with the industry's best rigging, hauling, and lifting products to get you home safe. Tire chains, wire rope, round slings, chain slings, and a whole lot more. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Online at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
Spring cleanup is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital and BCS Market Garden Equipment. Winter left a mess, and the Lawnmower Hospital brings you solutions. From BCS tillers and rotary plows to power harrows and two-wheel garden tractors that go places a traditional tractor wouldn't dare. You'll find everything BCS at the Lawnmower Hospital,
including attachments, accessories, hitches, wheels, and tires, plus more. See lawnmowerhospital.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor. If you love the taste of beer or spirits but don't want a hangover, we have a great selection of non-alcoholic beer, spirits, and wine. Stop in and try some. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
226. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely day. A little bit of snow yesterday, but much nicer today. And good luck to all the teams who are heading into the finals, if you're not done, but a lot of the different teams heading into the finals. Some getting set to qualifying for provincials as well. So good luck to all of those teams. Always some great memories for young kids. Many of you probably doesn't matter what age you are. You'll remember if your team won a city championship, maybe you won provincials, maybe it's a minor hockey week, whatever it was. It doesn't matter how old you get. You usually remember those. So winning's always fun. Doesn't matter at what age. Maybe it gets a little bit more fun for a different time when you're a professional. Who knows? But let's go around the NHL now. Brought to you by McDonald's. And at McDonald's right now, the Big Arch. If you haven't tried it, you might want to. And it's fantastic. Lots of beef, lots of tastes, lots of good. The Big Arch at McDonald's. And a gentleman who knows a thing or two about winning, won multiple Stanley Cups, 4 to be exact, with the New York Islanders. Of course, a longtime analyst for the Islanders, Butch Goring, joins us. Butch, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. A little warmer here than it is in Edmonton. We're looking at about 50, I believe it is. At least it feels pretty good. And 58 degrees. So you know what? Living life large.
Yeah, hey, that's good. The Islanders, I guess let's talk first of all, they make the Brock Nelson trade, and I think they did pretty well. Lots of people think Cal Ritchie's going to be a heck of a young player. Lots of people think, hey, maybe he's kind of in the Patrice Bergeron mode, man. Even if he's only 80% of Patrice Bergeron, that would still be pretty good. But by losing him, obviously that takes out some of their offensive punch a little bit. But you look at this team and they're still near the bottom in offense. How can they get more goals moving forward? What do they need?
Well, I think they need to have everybody contribute. The biggest problem is they haven't had a lot of offense from the third and the fourth lines. And you can't be a 1 or a 2 line hockey team. And now, obviously, with no Barzal, no Brock Nelson, now the onus is on everybody that puts on the jersey to find a way to contribute some way offensively. That's if you want to win hockey games.
Yeah. So when you look at this team, and I really like on paper their defense, Butch. With the good different combinations, some skill guys. Noah Dobson, Pulak's got an absolute bomb. I like Pelech as a defender. And when I look at their team, and you got Sorokin, they're decent, but you would like them to have better even defensive numbers. Like they should be a top 10 defensive team, no?
Well, I agree with you. I like a lot of what the guys have done during the regular season, but I think what gets lost in the numbers is that the Islanders within about a week and a half lost their entire left side, and Lou was scrambling around just to get defensemen to be able to fill in admirably, and then they got healthy, and then once they had their 5-6 guys back, they lost their entire right side. So the numbers are a little screwed as far as that's concerned, because they really haven't had the 6 guys that they have now playing all season. So when they're all together, they play pretty well. It's a pretty solid team back there, as you mentioned. Tony DeAngelo has come in and played with Romanov, and they've been a real nice pair. And then certainly with Dobson and Pelech, they've been good. And then certainly whoever plays, whether it's Boquist or whether it's Mayfield, you know, they've all been pretty good. So I think I hear what you're saying, and I would say that if they were to play together for any number of games, that would really help.
Butch, if I look at the Islanders, to me from afar, it's easy to see why this team's not in the in the playoffs, because they're special teams. Your power play is dead last, and your penalty kill second last. Like their combined special teams are 82.5% combined. Like there's lots of teams that have a better penalty kill alone. Like it is awful at both ends of the ice on special teams.
You know what? It's something that as a broadcaster and a former player, we've talked about it all the time. And I said when the season started, you know, everybody was asking me, how are they going to do? And I said, the New York Islanders will make the playoffs if their special teams are in the top 10. They don't have to be number one, but they cannot be in the bottom third. And they're not only in the bottom third, as you mentioned, they're, you know, last and dead last. So it just hasn't performed. And it's the reason they are where they are. I mean, you just think about, you know, they're within 5 points of a playoff spot. And they're in the special teams. They lose almost every night, or they don't win. I mean, so it's they can never get they haven't been able to get a critical stop or a critical goal at key times. And so you bring up a point that's really a sore thumb out here with the Islanders, not only with people but with fans and then certainly coaching staff. So they just haven't been able to figure it out.
As a guy, and you played on both sides, Butch, you were a penalty killer and you were a power. When you watch their power play, what's missing?
Well, for me, and it usually comes down to the same for many power plays is for me there's not enough movement. I always say that it's not a chess game. You don't just stand there and someone says you should go here. You've got to find the holes and the opening. So they struggle with that at different times, and they don't shoot it enough. I mean, I've talked to Anders Lee about it, who makes a living staying in front and taking the punishment. And I asked him the same thing. I said, how can you stand there night after night and nobody shoots the puck? And he says, amen, Butch. So that was his comment. So those are, I would think, two of them, the most important thing. I mean, obviously there's a lot of you could go down a lot of different ways of why they're struggling, but that to me is, two of the more obvious elements.
Yeah, 100%. Like, and it's interesting how when Anders Lee's like, yeah, right, Butch, no one wants to shoot. And so it's a confidence factor, but I know it would seem easy to say, well, just shoot. But so I don't know, what do you think? Like, what can coaches do? Are there drills? Like, because eventually you got to do something to try to get guys out of the funk to think, at least at bare minimum, I'm not going to be scared to shoot the puck.
Well, I'm sure that the coaches have, they can look at stats and see how bad they have been, and they can watch video and they can see what they're doing and not doing. And the one thing I can't answer is what changes they're making in the dressing room from a coaching standpoint. I can't answer that. I'm not there. All I can see is what goes on the ice. And as I said, on many occasions, it's a very stagnant power play with very little imagination.
Looking ahead tonight, you got the Edmonton Oilers coming into town. The Oilers are obviously a frustrated group, actually being tied with San Jose for the worst record in the NHL over the last 15 games. And even with Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, they don't look very good right now. They're a team that, at least offensively for me, settles for a lot of outside shots. They don't get a lot of traffic. When you're going up against a team, Butch, that clearly is struggling offensively, do you just say, hey, we'll give them the perimeter all day long and not really worry about it?
Well, there's two guys that I would give the perimeter to all day long and not worry about it, because they're obviously the two most potent guys, and maybe in the entire league when you talk about offense. So if you keep them to the outside, then I like your chances to win a hockey game. And I can think back to the 80s, and that was the strategy with Gretzky and Paul Coffey was we don't care what they do, just keep them to the outside and then know where they're going to, or try to know where they're going to pass it. And we had pretty good success against the Oilers over the years with Gretzky and Messier and company. So I think it's pretty similar. I mean, for the Islanders to win tonight, they've got to eliminate those two guys, or at least minimize their effect on the game.
Butch Goring joined us, analyst for the New York Islanders. Butch, how How impatient are Islander fans? Are they happy with the Brock Nelson trade? Are they getting pretty frustrated, especially when they see the Devils and the Rangers, obviously their two biggest rivals, battling for playoff spots?
Well, I think they're somewhat happy. It's a mixed bag really with Brock Nelson. I mean, because you lose a good player, a very entertaining player, and so that's going to have an adverse effect on whether you can win games or not. But I think for the entire season, they're a very frustrated group. They want their team to do better, and for the last really 3.5 years, they've been an average hockey team, and so the fans, like every fan base, they want to win. They want to win a Stanley Cup, and so the Islander fans are no different. So, so I think if you took a poll, they probably majority would say we're not happy.
Do you see any significant changes coming in the offseason for New York?
Yeah, I do. I think management certainly recognizes that this group, as much as confidence as everybody has for this core group, is that there's changes that need to be made, and obviously it starts with Brock Nelson and acquiring a young player and a draft pick, and Lou and his post deadline trade deadline said that there will be more changes during the summer. So what that means exactly, I don't know, but you have to think that he's going to be looking for some players with that can bring a lot more offense to the hockey team and a lot more skill. As we all know, one of the things that excels on the power play is skill. So who he lets go and who he doesn't, remains to be seen. But he has told the fans that they can expect not one change, but several changes.
Significant. Okay, well, that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
We'll look forward to the game tonight to see what will happen. To see if there'll be more than 2 power plays. As both of these teams are some of the least penalized teams, fewest teams. They don't get a lot of power plays either way. So this might be a 5-on-5 game, start to finish.
Yeah, and that's a good thing for the Islanders. The 5-on-5, they're one of the best teams in the league, obviously, because the other side of the coin is not very good. And let me just finish off by saying, hey, you know what? I grew up playing minor hockey. Was some of the best times of my life, and we did win a couple of championships. So let me just send out my best wishes to everybody that's involved, whether it's minor hockey or certainly amateur sport. Have fun, but winning is fun.
It totally is. Butch, you won a lot at the NHL, and you still remember the ones when you were a kid too. It's pretty great. Awesome. Thanks so much.
Not a problem. Enjoyed it.
There you go. That's Butch Goring. And anybody out there right now who won it, I don't care what level you won at, you'll remember it instantly. And it would, geez, I can't remember what our team was. Now you'll always remember the year you won, whether you won provincials, and even sometimes, even if you didn't win provincials, but you made it to provincials, maybe you lost in the final. You lost in the final of a Edmonton Minor Hockey Week. Maybe you lost in the league final. You won a league final. Just getting there is a lot of fun. So I know for a lot of kids and a lot of teams, they're wrapping it up this weekend. So enjoy it. Have a great time. And remember, don't yell at the refs. We'll take a quick break. And hey, we talked about it earlier. The easiest thing to do is quit. The Oilers, they're in it right now. They're in the muck. All right, maybe we'll play this. We'll play a speech for you coming out of the break that maybe it'll get you more positive thinking about the Oilers when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
The locks are on a timer. They're going to get out.
Sounds like a job.
portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Watch every Oilers game at OTR with $5.25 Molson Canadian, $5 Pink Whitney shots, and 60-cent wings. Plus, play Oilers Score and Win for your chance to win On the Rocks gift cards. Oilers Hockey at OTR. Book your table today. Jasper Ave in 118.
From puck drop to kickoff, it's the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, it's a Friday, rolls along. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. As we're going to get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Rides Charter Company, one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches that will safely take you or your group to your next destination. Book your ride today at silentrides.ca, as we are joined by Olympic gold medalist and fitting mental coach Lorianne Muenzer joins us today. And Lorianne, I would think that now more than ever, like it's when things are going well, it's easier in life, it's easier in everything. When things start to go the wrong way, lots of times, the true character comes. It's easier to quit than it is to want to push through. And the Oilers are in it right now. They got the worst, tied with San Jose for the worst record in the NHL over the last 15 games. They're struggling in a lot of facets of their game right now, that they can't hold leads. Well, there's really nothing they can do other than score in the power play. They're good there. But when it's a group, like an individual is like a forward can only really do his job. And because if he does his job, then hopefully it helps others. But it's unique when you work with team athletes and it starts with themselves. It's hard because if I do my job and then you can't get mad at the other person. What's the mental challenge when a team is in a funk compared to like when you're an individual in a funk, and it's maybe easier to look in the mirror and yell and scream?
Well, Jason, you've really touched on a good point. When you're solo, when you're an individual athlete, it's always easier because there's nobody else to blame. It's just you and everything is on the line. But then when you've got teammates with you, it's how can we collectively be and do great things, right? How can we have the ultimate game? How can we be on instead of off? And like you said, it's always easier to quit, but it's harder to come back, but it isn't. It's all depending on what you're thinking about. And there's a couple of things that I always think about when I'm working with teams is, what are the fundamentals of the sport that you're playing, right? What are all the fundamental things? Are you trying to get fancy? Or are you going to keep it simple and just play to the fundamentals? Because the fundamentals will save you every time. We see that in figure skating. We see that in hockey. We see that in cycling. Is just that you can always see when somebody tries to get fancy, overdo their part. Maybe they're not playing up to their par. And it's just, okay, sometimes you just got to let it go and do your job. But then also, how can you help others? Because when you're out of your head, you're not in that slump, that sort of thing. So it's like, what can I do to help my teammates? Because you never know, you're going to be in a position, they're going to pass you the puck and you're going to be able to be in prime territory to score. And sometimes you're going to be the one who's in that perfect opportunity to pass the puck to somebody else. And it might be unexpected.
What are tricks you've learned when you're in a funk to mentally help yourself get out of it?
Oh, number one is your mantra. It's an affirmation. Some people will call it a prayer. It's what do you rely on? What are you telling yourself? And it's in the mindset world, we call it auto-suggestion. It is called self-suggestion. It's talking to yourself. Are you saying, oh my gosh, like you suck, you're no good? Or are you telling yourself the other stuff? All right, just next move. I'm just going to, be in the right spot. I can do everything within my ability here to make it happen. I'm going to be in the right spot. I'm the magnet. And it's always there's always a saying that will really pull you out and get you back into your game or get you back from being off track to being on track.
Lorianne Muenzer joins us. When you look at the mentals, can you tell from your experience when an athlete is fragile? And fragile is maybe the wrong word, but their self-doubt is there.
I think you can. I think a lot of it will show up in your posture, how you carry yourself, how you show up to the bench, how you get on the ice, how you get off the ice, how you walk on, how you walk off. And just your body language will share and say a lot about how are you feeling? Are you Sidney Crosby, unstoppable? Like, everybody who says, well, if I'm on Sid's team, it's like, we're going to win. And there's a state of mind with that. And with that, it comes a posture. And if you're not feeling it, I see a lot of athletes and they're just kind of slumped over and they're just down in the drums, whatever it is. And it's just, hold on a second, stand up, sit up, be proud of yourself, get that confidence and act as if. And we work through that act as if, which is be it before you actually become it. And when you start to do that, it's an instant energy shift of going, okay, you see a lot of people, they're at a conference or they're watching the game and they're literally they're slouched. There's no energy in it. So number one, are you showing up with energy? Are you showing up with intention? How do you want to be today? How do you want to play? What is it that you're wanting to do? And your posture, it's going to be one of the dead giveaways. You can look at the sprinting, the 100-meter dash. Look at cycling sprinting. Is you can see it. I don't know, maybe it's a little far away for face-offs and stuff, but you can still see it. You still will have that feeling of, is that player, is that rider, is that athlete going to do it? Are they going to make that first move and boom? Are they going to hit it or are they going to wait?
Lori-Ann, looking at, I know we've talked a lot about, the mental side and the self-affirmation and, things that you say to yourself, which are key. We got a few texts coming in though. How do you know though, when you're like, how can you convince yourself? Because saying it's one thing, but then you got to believe it. And that might be harder.
Yeah. I always like to say, have you ever been in your car in a rainstorm and your vehicle sort of hydroplanes? You get that feeling of, you're lifting off and then you're kind of sliding a bit. You can actually put yourself into such a state, Jason, and it can be a negative state as well. I like to go on the positive state is, can you say, you know what, I'm strong, I'm powerful, I've got this shot, strong, powerful, I've got this shot. If you said that 100 times, I bet you your state, your energy would totally shift and change. And that's the thing is that most athletes, they'll say it a couple of times and go, well, nothing's happening. What is it that I need to do? You need to keep talking it. You need to keep saying it until you feel it and then you believe it. Because when you start to feel it, there's a sensation that will come over you, because we can go down the negative rabbit trail and go, oh, you suck. You're not any good. You keep missing all the shots. And you may not miss every shot, but if you say that or you hear that enough times, you're going to eventually believe it. So why not let's go to the polar opposite and start telling yourself what you do good. Like, what are the fundamentals? You're fast, you're on the puck, you're able to pass, the passes are accurate. And you start bringing some of those cues into it. And at first it's going to sound really ridiculous, but the more you do it and the more you feel it, the more you're going to believe it, the more you believe it, the more you're going to feel it. And it's just, it goes hand in hand. It's one and then it's the other. And then you can actually walk onto and go, hey, I've just totally changed the game here. The other guys on the team are picking up on my energy. And you know what, Jason? It's contagious. You can either lift people up or you can sink them.
When you look and kind of talk about that, how long, you've worked with lots of different athletes from young ages to professionals. How long does it take the average person to really start believe what they're saying?
Oh, wow. Jason, I wish I could say it takes 2 hours, it takes 3 days, but it all depends. It all depends on how you feel about that idea. Do you believe in the idea? If I said to you, like, I know we've talked about cycling stuff, right? Is what if you incorporated the one-legged drills in and on your Peloton, right? What if you got up to a 90 RPM all the time, constant average RPM? Because I see a lot of cyclists, they'll be at 75, maybe 80, and they're just pushing and they're grinding. So the question number one is, do you accept the idea? Is it an idea that you could go, hey, if I adopted maybe this mantra, strong, powerful, no fear, I'm just going to go and give it my all, can and would I actually believe that? And then would it come out in my game? And if it was yes, you can flip and evolve into that person, into that athlete on that state where it starts to become your normal every day. But if you don't accept the idea, Jason, it won't matter how much you do it, how hard you try. It's more mechanical versus you can tell the athletes that, man, they just dance on their skates. They just like, it doesn't matter where they are on the ice. They're able to maneuver. They're able to shoot. They're able to pass, receive everything. And then you see other ones and they're just really choppy. They're trying so hard and they're not making a lot happen. So a lot of it comes down to, how do you feel about this idea? How do you feel about the game? Where's the joy? Where's the fun? And what is it that you want to do with it?
Lorianne, great stuff as always. We appreciate it. Have yourself an awesome weekend.
And you as well. Thanks, Jason.
So Lorianne Muenzer joins us every Friday. Talk a little on the mental side, and I think right now it's probably more important than ever. But I think it's a unique thing that, depending on your age, you probably never even thought about that, right? There was never the notion of, that repetitive mantra or something. Now, maybe some of you have, but the majority of people probably never even learned about that at all. And how you present it to the young athlete or even someone in school, right? Like, we talk about sports, but, believing in yourself is going to help you in school. It's going to help you at work, maybe in a relationship, in so many different facets. And it's constant because even the most confident person can somehow lose their confidence for a short period of time if you're playing athletics. It just happens. So it's kind of fascinating to me, the self-talk and you get a mantra and just, you got to repeat it. And it is interesting because you've seen some of the videos on now that they're getting a little bit more of a peek behind the curtains, and especially in the NFL, you watch sometimes, like, there'll be guys on the sidelines, and I've seen George Kittle, and he's like, I'm strong, I'm powerful. And you're kind of like, and my son was watching, he's like, well, and I said, well, son, you got to believe that stuff, right? And you're telling yourself, you're reminding yourself, like, even guys like best players in the world. And it was very interesting watching him. He's walking up and he was mic'd on it, and, he's talking to himself, and this was his thing that he just kept repeating. And, I think now some guys don't do it, but there's a whole, there's lots of people who are firm believers that you visualize something, you keep saying it, there's a much better chance. Now you have to be realistic. You got to put in the work. You can't just have a goal. Hey, you know what? I want to play in the NHL. I'm going to say it. I want to play in the NHL, but then you don't do any work that follows through with what your goal is. If you don't have the habits to match your goal, it ain't going to matter. But, guys who get to the NFL, obviously they put in the work. They kind of know how to work. And then a lot of times, like, there's the superstars and they're the rare, but I think, like, 80% of the other league, like, so much of it is mental. And, sometimes obviously there's being in the right place at the right time, and you have a coach who likes you and you perform well, and then away you go. So there's lots of factors, but I found that interesting in the NFL. Cons, you watch a lot of those NFL ones, and I'm sure I've seen it more there than I have, just because, I don't know, there's more players and maybe they mic them up more, and they do more behind the scenes than a lot of other sports. So maybe that's why I see more of them in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, look at AJ Brown reading that book, Self-Help on the Sideline, and it jumped into like number one of the best sellers. And even sometimes it's coming from other guys, like strength coaches are, hyping the guys up, letting them know, you deserve to be here. You're here for a reason, those sorts of things like that. So, like you said, not for everyone, but I think for some people, the power of visualization goes a long way for them and helps give them that confidence.
Yeah. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley with you. Let's get to the con man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Booster Juice. They introduced 3 new food options with new ingredients to create a new craving: the guacamole chicken panini, guacamole black bean wrap, and egg and chipotle black bean wrap. Visit the nearest Booster Juice today and try one.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It is game day. The Edmonton Oilers look to bounce back as they'll take on the Islanders out at UBS Arena in Elmont. Puck drop just after 5:30. Our pregame coverage with Andrew Walker and Jason Gregor gets going at 4:30 right here on Sports 1440. Elsewhere around the NHL, you got the Canes and the Red Wings. Stars in Winnipeg. Flames host the Avs. Ducks taking on the Predators, and Utah heads to Seattle. In the association tonight, the Raptors in action. They'll take on Utah Jazz from Salt Lake City, tip-off 7:30. Also, the Kings in the desert to meet the Suns. Nuggets host the Lakers. Spurs up against the Hornets. Magic head to Minnesota. Bears take on the Cavaliers, Mavs, and Rockets. And the Heat hosting the Boston Celtics. In the BCHL, Spruce Grove on the road tonight in Penticton, taking on the league-leading Vs. That gets going at 8 o'clock in the Edmonton area. You have the Sherwood Park Crusaders hosting Cranbrook. That one starts at 7. In the AJ, Devons and Bonnieville, Lloyd hosting GP. Drayton Valley takes on Whitecourt. Calgary meets Drumheller, and Olds hosting Canmore. Right now at the Players' Championship down in Florida. Min Woo Lee atop the leaderboard, tied with Akshay Bhatia. Both those players 11 under par. JJ Spawn sitting in second at 10 under. As for Canadians, Taylor Pendrith 5 under, Corey Connors 4 under. Both projected to make the cut and play over the weekend. The cut right now is set at -1. That means Adam Hadwin, Nick Taylor, Mackenzie Hughes, Adam Svensson, and Ben Silverman all out for the event. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Ask 5 Questions. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 furnace install company for sailors because they know the value of a warm port. And they sing, there was a ship who fought the cold, who sailed the sea with a furnacey load. She brought the heat to IEG and her name was Legacy. Through icy wind and winter squall, her fire she burned for one and all with a comfort chugging guarantee, and her name was Legacy. No! Yep, no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. Don't trust just any port in a winter storm. Trust Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertip. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Silent Rides is one of Alberta's premier bus charter companies with state-of-the-art motor coaches. We provide our customers with the safest and most reliable ground transportation. Our seatbelt-equipped buses have become the preferred carrier for many local sports teams, tours, corporate outings, and other various travel across Western Canada. For more information and to request a quote, contact Ted Nakamura at 780-940-0880 or visit silentrides.ca.
Volvo Cars Edmonton invites you to their biggest sale of the year. The March showroom event is on now. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 1.99% and save $3,500. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,500. Lease or finance a 2024 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,500. Don't miss the March showroom event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
People are always curious about what GS Construction does. They know it's something to do with construction because it's in our name. But our work at GS Construction isn't just about the projects we do. It's about people. This season, you'll see GS Construction improving underground infrastructure in the places we call home. So we're looking for crew members to work with motivated and friendly team members. Sound like you? If you want to join a team that cares about the community, your community, visit gsconstruction.ca and apply today.
Portions of Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Hat tricks, touchdowns, and home runs. Get it all with the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X, also sports1440.ca. Maybe if you're out of the city, you want to live in the country. Hey, even if you're in the U.S., you can listen if you're on 5G. Just download the app at iHeartRadio or a Radio Player or Stingray, and you can take us with you anywhere you go. It's fantastic. Lots of text flying in, 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 in our inbox. Hey, Gregor, I'm pro Skinner. I'm just wondering how many people's opinions you think you will change from Tiger. Well, I'm not really interested in changing anyone's opinion. I believe it's my job to prevent and present as much informed information as I can. I don't really care if someone's opinion changes or not. That's irrelevant. It doesn't impact. I don't go home at night saying, hey, I think Bob or Dave or Pete now agree with me. It doesn't matter, honestly. To me, we live in a society now that there's too much false information that gets spread around and people believe it. So I feel like saying, hey, yeah, has the goaltender struggled? 100%. But it's not just the goalies, and here's why. So when the Oilers are second in the NHL in high danger chances off the rush last year and second in the NHL in odd man rushes off the year, and guess what? Their goaltenders had good numbers. And now this year, now they're 17th and 18th on the season. So early in the year, it wasn't as big of an issue. But since November 15th, they haven't been good. And since January 1st, it's gotten even worse. They're 30th in odd man chances off the rush and 25th in high danger chances off the rush. So guess what? The goalies' numbers are going to be bad, not just because of the goalies. Go ask Connor Hellebuyck fans if he was suddenly a terrible goalie for 5 games. Or did the Jets just get lit up and he can't stop everything? Going to happen. Right? You need your goalie to make some saves, but even the best goalie in the world isn't going to stop everything if it's just a continuous high danger chance. And the Oilers might not give up a lot of shots. They give up a lot of high danger chances, just like last night. Right? I counted after the game 8-2 high danger chances for New Jersey in favor. The Oilers had 2, and they scored on one of them, Leon Draisaitl. They didn't create enough. And when you go back and watch the replay, which I did because it's my job. And I took the shot because I'm looking in the third period and I'm like, oh, geez, they had 19 shots. But I'm like, man, I watched that period. I don't remember many good chances. And sure enough, when you rewatch it, it's like, oh, long shot, 60 feet, 59 feet, no one in front of the net. Like, it's a shot on the score clock that's really irrelevant to anything other than save percentage. And so, the Oilers ranked 19th in the NHL in save percentage. And they're 15th in goals against. Goals against to me matter more. Just like, does anybody say, oh, where are the Oilers in shooting percentage? No, they care about goals because that's what wins the game, not shooting percentage. Right? Shooting percentage is whatever. Sometimes you get lucky, great. But at the end of the day, you find ways to score goals. And you got to find ways to limit goals for the Edmonton Oilers. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. You can text us or call us as we go to Richard. Richard, good afternoon. How you doing?
Hey, not too bad. How are you, Jason?
Excellent. What's on your mind?
Kind of building off of what Lorianne was saying. I work in the field of mental health, and I just want to say that not all of our thoughts and feelings are capital T truth. They're not always real. They are valid in the moment. I call those the lowercase t truths, right? And so a lot of those thoughts and feelings that the others might be having in those moments of struggles are going to affect their game for sure. But back to that visualization piece. If you close your eyes and you think about, say, the happiest moments of your life, and you visualize those connections, those memories, that love, you're going to start to feel that emotion. Well, very similarly, when you play any sport, right? That confidence that they need they need to feel it, they need to think it, they need to connect with it on numerous levels, right? And overthinking is one of the most destructive things that you can do, and debilitating things you can do in any moment, because you're just disconnected from your body, from reality. You're creating scenarios in your head, you're worrying, you're all these things. So shutting that brain up, right? Getting like their body knows how to play hockey. Their physical system knows how to play hockey and shoot the puck, right? But when they're overthinking and stressing about it, they're not letting their body do what it knows how to do.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure it's like, hey, like the penalty killers last year, they want to get over the boards every shift because they never got scored on, right? So they're not even thinking about getting scored on. They're thinking about how can we limit them from scoring, right? It's a different mindset, but it's fleeting though. I'm sure it can fluctuate very quickly for some people. Even the strongest mental people will have dips, right?
Absolutely. And then that's a matter of, reminding ourselves of the good times, the bad times, but just reconnecting back to the present moment, getting situated into our body and challenging our thoughts, because they're not all capital T truth, right? They're valid because we're having them, but they can get distorted with overthinking and worrying, right?
Oh yeah. I think most of us are our own worst enemy at times. I would assume we like to convince ourselves of situations sometimes that aren't necessarily real.
Absolutely. And right where you put your attention is where your emotions flow to.
Love it. Awesome. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
There you go. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440.
Gregor, is George Mumford still with the Oilers?
I don't see him around as often, but my understanding is yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But I don't know, how that works, because I saw him earlier, but I haven't seen him lately, to be honest. Again, I'll be very upfront. I haven't been looking for them. Like even last year, like I would go months and not see George because, where he was at in the game, sometimes he was never up in the press box, right? So that's probably something I could look at to see. But yeah, I know he was around there, a fair amount last year. So I don't know if it's something that, why you would change it, or maybe they felt like, now you go to individuals. I don't know. It's a good question. But I thought he's still, I know I've seen him at least a few times this year. At least I think I have. But maybe I'm dreaming. It's very possible. I'd have to ask. Hey, Gregor, so the gist is they can't score, they can't defend, they can't get a save. Well, Jurassic Bark, right now, you're fairly accurate. Yeah, there's a reason the Oilers have the worst record in the NHL the last 15 games. And when every aspect of your team is struggling, that's what happens. Right? The Oilers, they're not playing very well. I don't that's hello, Captain Obvious, but what the outside of the power play, right? Their power play is playing well. But in the last 15 games, the Oilers, they're not even averaging 3 goals a game. They're 20th at 2.87. Right? Their penalty kill is 70%. Now their power play, as I said, is very good. Their goals against average, not good. Right? You look at them, even their shots against, they're kind of the same as they've always been. They're still under 30, and that's fine. But, you look at their quality chances giving up, they're leaking. They're and I don't know who this is, but we went to practice on Wednesday night cons at the Connects Arena in St. Albert. And as I'm walking in, there's a guy walking out, and he had his mouth, he had a big bandage, toilet paper on his mouth, or well, maybe not, something, right? It's all plugged. I was like, oh, geez, what happened to that guy? I thought he got hit. Anyway, I walk into the arena, and there is blood. There's a tree. You could tell he got stuck right behind the net, bleeding. He goes off the icon. There's blood everywhere. And right now, that's the Oilers. They are leaking all over the place. There's very, I would probably say Leon Draisaitl. And then after that, there's not many in this 15-game stretch. Leon has 12 goals in this 15-game stretch where they're sucking. Right? There's not a lot of other guys doing much, to be honest. Because if some guys are scoring, they're getting outscored. So the one benefit sometimes is when everybody's in it together, now you can all pull yourself out. It's because there shouldn't be a lot of finger pointing. Because who right now could look and say, I don't care about what happened in October. I'm not talking about October. I'm not talking about November. I'm talking about right now, today. Because the past for this season, what you did in October, if it was really awesome, isn't helping you today. And if it was really awful, well, that's not helping you today either. It's going lately. And how many players could you say, oh, yeah, playing up to their standards? Outside of Leon Draisaitl, anyone? I've liked Jake Wallman's game, I guess, since he's come over, and played. Nurse's numbers are okay, but not great, not as good as they were earlier in the year. So, yeah, I think he could probably play better. Like, honestly, I'm trying to find a guy other than when Draisaitl, who I would say, okay, maybe I'd put him over here and then everybody else is in the pool. Some guys are in the deeper end for sure, but I think they're all in the pool of struggle.
The season as a whole, like Corey Perry.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Perry might be a guy. That's fair. Yeah,
but that's about it. Like the three you named.
But even lately, it's Perry because he has four. Yeah. He does have 4 goals, 5-on-5. Still, he's not playing very many minutes. I don't see him making a ton of mistakes. So yeah, Corey Perry, I could probably put it. Now, that's a guy who doesn't play a lot of minutes, but when he's on the ice, you're right. He's probably doing more positive than negative. That would be fair. There might be the odd other guy, but let's be honest, man. If the hot tub is for the guys who are playing well, most of them are in the swimming pool right now. I think that's valid. And the good news for the Oilers is they're capable of playing better. We've seen it earlier this season from an individual standpoint, from a player standpoint. So they'll play better. Hey, Gregor, what are you hearing on Trent Frederick? He hasn't skated yet. My understanding is, though, he's back working out and getting closer, and that he should be on the ice next week. So I don't know, because I know Ekholm's been back home skating. Him and Evander Kane skate together. So my understanding is Ekholm should be good to go for the homestand. And Trent Frederick, if he starts skating next week, the Oilers play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and then they've got 3 days off. I think it is, because then they play Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday again. So they'll have Sunday, Monday. I would think that Wednesday, if I was guessing today. Now, you could bring him back maybe Saturday, but he gets 3 extra days off. So depending on, I guess if he's ready to go, he's ready to go. And if he's ready to go Saturday, great. But if they're like, well, geez, we get another 72 hours, okay, maybe we'll wait. But I that's kind of where so you think about it, I would say probably 5 games at the most he's going to miss. And then you'd shoot to have him back that week, which obviously would be huge for the Oilers because he's going to add some energy. I still think at times, like, this is a team that's just, there's lots of stretches where it's just kind of, they're like a wet noodle. There's not a lot of life in there. Not a lot of starch. That's what I think they miss. Hey, Gregor, what about Reguli? Hasn't been mentioned at all. They shut him down, my understanding, is they shut him down. They're just going to let him, take more time and come into camp next year. So it's a good question, Russ. Thanks for that. Let's take a quick break. We will return. We got Spec, we got Button coming up and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Experience more at the Edmonton Expo Center. Come for Canada's largest trade show, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. Stay for the experience. But it doesn't end there. Maximize your brand exposure with Edmonton Expo Center's new cutting-edge feature screens, spanning Western Canada's largest venue space. Captivate an annual audience of over 1 million visitors during iconic events like Pro Rodeo, Disney on Ice, Glow, K-Days, and so much more. To learn more, call 780-660-0514 or visit EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this Truck Month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th. Don't miss the Champions Luncheon on Friday, April 25th at the Edmonton Convention Center. Tables are on sale now. This year's event is hosted by accomplished sports journalist and author Scott Morrison and features the legendary locker room tales of Mike Keenan. Iron Mike grew from a highly respected NHL player to one of the most passionate coaches in hockey history. For more information or to purchase your Champions Luncheon table, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca.
If you didn't find the new RV at last month's RV show, take a look at the used RV show. Over 100 used RVs in tip-top shape. Browse multiple dealers on location with special RV show finance rates. A vast array of units well within your price range. Tent and travel trailers, fifth wheels, toy haulers, motorhomes, and more. All inspected, certified, and ready for summer. Find your new-to-you RV at 9603 165 Ave. Free admission with a food bank donation. Visit usedrvshow.ca.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Since 2016, we've been at the forefront of hydraulic torque wrenches in Canada. I'm delighted to share our latest venture, in-house production for quicker turnaround, superior quality, and heightened versatility. Experience excellence at cantork.com.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
For Selly hockey fans, your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Dang. Last season, you bought new clubs to fix your game. You spent the entire season trying to learn how to hit with your magic clubs. And guess what? Dang. They didn't help your game. Now you're convinced it's your swing, but it really is your clubs. Even though you were told the ones you bought were the best ever made, if they were, you would have gotten better. Every day at Fitted Golf, we continue to prove the right clubs make all the difference in the world. From beginners to pros, Fitted Golf makes all the difference. Yes, fittedgolf.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Japa is digging deep on their 50-year history of supporting Alberta's construction industry with their line of special edition blackout excavators. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.322, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. It is game day. Oilers in Long Island to take on the Islanders, where I'll say this about the Islanders. They're special. Like, if the Oilers could find a way to get some power plays tonight, they'd have a good chance, because the Islanders special teams is brutal. 12% on the power play, worse than the NHL. 70.5% on the penalty kill, second worst. So if Edmonton can find a way to draw some penalties, and now the Islanders, they don't take many penalties. Neither do the Oilers. They're both in the bottom 5 of power play chances. They're both in the bottom 5 of penalty. Well, I guess top 5 when it comes to penalties taken. So might not be a lot of special teams. We'll see. Let's get to the spec report now, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialist. And hey, man, they're always looking to unearth a few great employees. Go to Indeed.com and look up GS Construction as they are hiring. As Mark Spector joins us. Spec, how you doing?
Pretty fair, Jay. Pretty fair. Just like everyone else in town, trying to figure out a hockey team here. You got it sorted out yet?
Well, I've crunched all the numbers. I watched the game again last night, and the Oilers outshot them in the third period. They sure as heck didn't outchance them in the third period. And no, like shots are one thing. And to me, I wrote about it today. Those two, they had a lot of hollow shots that, like Corsi shots, if we want to call it that. They look good there, but they're not. When you got 10 of the 19 from your defense, and they're all from 50 feet, except there's a few from 28. They had one rebound sequence. There was two shots under 20 feet in the third period. Adam Henrique is a tip, and then he had the rebound right after, and that happened the first 2 minutes of the period, and that was it.
Yeah, that's not nearly enough. And you've done the research on it, and I could say this to you: try to think of a huge save that Jake Allen made in that game, right? Like, he didn't make a bunch of big saves. Nobody would. If you were picking the 3 stars, Jake Allen wasn't one of them. He was good, but he didn't have to be great. And I think what that tells you is my eye test and your statistical test tell you the same thing. The Oilers weren't very dangerous.
No. Looking tonight, like, hey, the Oilers and Spec, like, outside of Leon Draisaitl, maybe Corey Perry, I was joking. Like, if you're on the holiday, you got the hot tub over there. Well, those two guys in the hot tub because they're playing well. Everybody else is in the pool, and some of the guys are in the deep end. Some guys are maybe in the shallow end. They're playing a little bit better, but there's not a lot of guys who are looking and saying, hey, man, my game's where it needs to be right now.
Oh, and how long are we going to have this conversation for? Like, I think it was 2 weeks ago where we decided that we all started counting how many guys on this team were having a better year than they had last year. And the number is, like 2 or 3. And how long are we going to have this conversation? And we're 65 games in here. If we're still having this conversation in 2 weeks, then that's a real problem. Maybe I'm naive, and I know Oiler fans want to think the same thing that I'm about to say, but I want to think that this is a good enough team with enough veterans, and they've got enough good players that they could put their game together in the last 15 games and be playoff ready. Like, that's what I want to be able to say. And I want to think that, they've been, other than this last little stretch, they've survived. They've been in contention for the division right up until very recently. And even though we haven't liked their game, their spot in the standings has been pretty good. And I want to say that they have a pedigree of player that they're going to put this thing together and enter the playoffs at the top of their game. And we're going to have a team that will pick to win the first round. That's what I want to say. But I don't see any of that at this point. And now we're 17 games from the end. So if we don't start seeing that in the next 5 or 6 games, then we're going to ask ourselves if maybe this just isn't the year for this team, right?
Yeah, well, the great part about the playoffs is you just got to get in. And I agree right now, the Oilers, it's not looking good. But I remember...
not looking good, but not to get in. They're getting in.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's not looking good, though, when they get in. Like, right now, I could see why a lot of people say, hey, I don't believe if the Oilers keep playing like this, they're not going to go very far. I think that's fair. But as we've seen, teams can turn it around. Like, the Oilers didn't actually blow the doors off last year going into the playoffs. Their final 16 games, they won 8. Their final 10 games, they won 4. Right? So now they rested in 2 of those games, sure. But they still were battling Vegas for first place and ultimately came up short. Right now, that first place is out the window now for Vegas. They're 7 points back. Hell, they're in a race for home ice against the LA Kings, for goodness sake. So
sure are.
We will.
Sure are.
I think the next 17 games, we'll find out. This team has talked a lot about how proud they are of their ability to bounce back from adversity, which they have shown. I think they've shown that. Right?
They have shown it.
You can't deny that they've done it. Now we'll see if they can do it again. And the fair question, eventually you got to try not to do it by that's like, you don't want to, it's weird. You go from 30 games where you're the best team in the league to now 15 games where you're tied with San Jose for the worst team in the league. And the numbers on when they were the best team, they were deserving of winning. And now that they're the worst team, they're deserving of the record.
Yeah, it is Jekyll and Hyde. So I guess that tells you there's both ends of this team. And you're right. A strong playoff series, like if you get in the playoffs and a few things happen, we've seen it. Teams can turn it around on a relatively speaking on a dime. But we're not talking on April 19th. We're talking today on whatever it is. Is it March 14th?
Yes.
Today, I think it's the 14th. on March 14th, I don't see any of those things that we're hoping for. I have not seen it. I don't see it. I'm still looking for it, and frankly, hoping to see some version of it in the near future. But today, this isn't a very good hockey team. So let's see if they can start turning around tonight on the island, man.
Yeah. So if Janmark comes in, who do you think? Well, I don't even think it matters. So I'm not even gonna waste my time on that question.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the fact that Chris Knobloch spec, right? Right. Last night, I thought was a panic move by the coach. It's a 0-0 game in the first period. 10 minutes in, the Devils have generated not very much. The Oilers haven't generated very much. And now you're loading up your top line. I don't get it.
No, I agree. There's frustration. I think the coach showed frustration. He showed frustration in Jeff Skinner because he didn't give him very much time with Draisaitl, right? Skinner played 10 minutes last night. You know, he allowed what he thought of Jeff Skinner's first 64 games with his team to affect what he thought about him in the 65th game. I think that, you know what I learned, Jay, and I've been thinking about this all day because it was unlike Chris Knobloch. Did you watch the post-game interview? I think you probably did, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he really went on about the 2-2 goal where the fourth line turned the puck over.
Yeah, and I watched it again today, Spec, because I was like, oh, well. And so Jones had and it really just kind of slipped off his stick at center ice. Like he didn't.
Not even at center ice, at the New Jersey
blue line. Yeah, like it wasn't a terrible, like, oh my God, this guy was trying a dangerous play. I agree. When I went back to watch it today, because I was like, geez, what did I miss? And I'm like, oh wow.
Well, see, so the definition of a bad turnover in neutral ice is you turn it over and it feeds a transition, right? Guys get caught going north. The other team transitions. You don't have enough guys south. And I'm not going to beat up on Knobloch because I'm sure he watched the video today and changed his mind. But what happened was Jones gave that puck up inside the defensive zone of New Jersey. They then passed the puck around. There was 5 guys behind that turnover for the Oilers. Then they passed it around. Then they came north. Then they cycled. The goal had nothing to do with the turnover, okay? So my point is this. It showed me that Knobloch's getting frustrated. He's getting frustrated with turnovers, that he's almost seeing them now when they're not necessarily even happening. He's frustrated with Skinner. He gave him 10 minutes and kicked them off the side of Draisaitl. He's frustrated with his depth guys because they're not doing anything. He's had enough of Nugent Hopkins playing with McDavid because he's seen it all year. He's had enough of it. So I just think there's a frustrated coach, and he probably needs to take a step back here, right? Take a step back and say, okay, take a deep breath. Let's kind of fire this thing up again. Because I thought in the post game yesterday, he seemed like a very frustrated coach.
Yeah, and hey, I get why he's frustrated. But
I'm frustrated too.
but I'm not frustrated because it really doesn't change my life whatsoever. But
you know what I'm saying.
I look at the and to me, when you're in that situation, you have to be the one who remains poised. And because when you're after the game, okay, you know what, you're worried about, hey, we're having too many turnovers, okay, but if you're never going to say anything about some of the egregious turnovers that are like right on the guy's tape and 2 seconds later it's in the net, but then you're going to pick out that one, like, and that doesn't sit overly well with me. Now it's Jones, and he's probably the 12th forward on your team right now. He might not even be playing once Frederick and Kane get in the lineup. So maybe it's whatever, but it's to me. I looked at the Oilers last night, and I don't think they played an awful game, Spec, but to me they played another. I want to say bordering on uninspired. They don't.
Is lifeless the word?
Yes. Like there's so many stretches where nothing happens. And there's so many guys who I'm like, what are you doing? Like Leon Draisaitl, you know what? He does it like second shift, he had a really good chance, comes down. Like he's beating guys one-on-one all over the ice. He's playing really well.
On all the time.
Right.
Taking them on every shift.
And so I look and say, okay, like, now you're not going to score every shift, but he's doing something. I can go periods and say, did Connor Brown do anything? Did Janmark do anything? Did Arvidsson do anything? Did Jeff Skinner do? Like there's so many players that are doing nothing right now for long stretches. That to me is concerning.
really long stretches. So now we start to question. Now it's time to ask: is a team full of 30-year-olds that have gone a long stretch here without getting anything done at a hard, important time of year when the opponent is playing. The opponent is playing harder here in March than they were in January. That's just the reality of an NHL season. The games mean more now. It's fair to ask about some of these guys. Is Connor Brown ever going to be a guy that's dangerous anymore? Is he taken the step into his career where maybe he's just a guy? Is Victor Arvidsson done being a dangerous top six player? I'm not sure. I don't think Victor Arvidsson's a top six player anymore, and he was hired here to be a top six player. Is Jeff Skinner a top six player in a good team? It's a very valid question, and he hasn't shown me that he is. Where's Henrique fit into this? He was supposed to be a third line center here. Maybe he's a fourth line center now, right? When you go to war with the oldest team in the NHL and a whole bunch of guys who are 30, yeah, you got a Corey Perry, and that's awesome. But you know what? You get out of 6 guys, you get 1 Corey Perry, but you're probably going to get 3 Victor Arvidsson. And that's kind of what I'm looking at here. They got a bunch of older guys who aren't giving it to you anymore. And I know this, Jay. I know this. It's not because they don't want to. It's not because they're not trying to. And it's not because they're not ready to play or they don't care or any of that. They really care and they want to win. But it ain't coming. So it's going to be time soon to ask. Maybe some of these guys don't have it anymore.
Well, it's a fair question. Because you're only, the truth about the analysis of players is you're only as good as what are you doing for me lately. And now when you have a really long resume of greatness, and let's say you have a little stretch where you're like, McDavid won 11 games. I'm like, I'm pretty sure McDavid's going to score. So I'm not too worried about it. But he still needs to play better. I can say he can play better. But the other guys, we're coming up on 65 games for a lot of them where there hasn't been a stretch. Like Brown had a little stretch there of 15 games in December and January was pretty good, but that's about it. Like there's some defense. I've liked Nurse's game this year. I've liked Kulak's game. I don't think like Bouchard will make some giveaways, but I got the numbers to back it up. I said a really
good player there, man. There's a really good player there.
And I even said on my show yesterday, I said, I'm going to guess there's 8 turnovers that led to goals against for Bouchard this year. 8. And I know people freak out, it's too many. I'm like, yeah, okay, it's 1 every 8 games. It's not ideal, but it's not nearly as bad as people think. And he still does a lot of good things. But the forward group specific, like outside of Corey Perry, nobody in the bottom 6 are you looking at and say, wow, you know what? Like, hey, this guy's just snake bitten, but man, is he doing a lot of other stuff. Like they're not killing penalties. They're not hitting anybody. So what are they doing?
Hey, Podkolzin. And Podkolzin's a young player. Podkolzin's now the guy that Vancouver said, there's nothing there. They gave him up for a 4th, right? Now, the first 35, 40 games, we all said, man, what's Vancouver thinking? Now we're going, okay, I think I see what Vancouver was thinking, right? Like, he's an okay player.
Yeah, well,
he's all right.
Yeah, he's $1 million. Like, he's $1 million player, but still.
$1 million player. Put him on your 4th line left wing. I can handle that as my 4th line left winger. He spent the whole season or most of the season as a 2nd line left winger here. If Podkolzin is your 2nd line left winger, your team's not good enough. Full stop, right? Full stop. If he's your 2nd winger, Jay, come on. You're not good enough.
Spec, did Doug McLean reach out to you today?
No. Should he have?
Well, he was on his show and he just said, man, I tried to read Spec's article last night, but it's so depressing he stopped. He said, you may need help if the order stayed this bad.
Dougie, what he meant to say was whoever reads it to him got bored.
Well, no, he said it was just to good. Well, hey, like the Oilers right now, they're in a funk. There's no question about it, right? They're in a funk. So, like, if you're the coach, like, I don't think to me, I would say, guys, I'm going to Leon and Connor and say, I'm keeping you guys separate. So you guys got to figure it out on your lines. If you want to yell and scream at whoever to get them going, great. Because here's the thing, Leon has scored all year long when he doesn't play with Connor. So to me, loading him up now, it's like, no, McDavid can get out of this. He's good enough. Like, if there's anybody that can get out of it on their own, it's him. So to me, I don't understand why he doesn't try Henrique with McDavid. And I'm going to ask him when he gets back, because that's the one. I know it's super small sample size, but it's 87 minutes that led to 9 goals for. Like, why not try it? Well, you can play Nugent Hopkins at center, put him up there, and then you keep Draisaitl on a line, because, Draisaitl, he's dominating like every second shift. He's looking like McDavid does normally, where he's making all the plays. Like, how many guys has he absolutely blown by here in the last 3 weeks? Almost every game he's blown by somebody.
Yep. Yeah, no, listen, at this point, there is no theory on line construction that is a bad one, because the coaching staff can't seem to figure it out. They've given that third line of Henrique, Janmark, Brown such a long rope, Jay. I mean, It's been a year-long rope. Every one of us is tired of writing that line down and watching them play and saying, oh, my goodness, why are these guys a line? They're not shutting down the other team's top guys. They're not scoring. They're not killing penalties very well. Like, what? Why? Right? We're all asking why. And listen, I've been around the game, and I've been in coaches' offices, and there's always reasons we don't know. And sometimes the reasons are, what the hell else am I supposed to do? This other guy can't do it, and this other guy can't do it. So I get it. It's not easy. But I'm with you, pal. Like, if you're telling me that, first of all, what you said is exactly right. Draisaitl's put together a Hart Trophy season with Arvidsson, who's done little, and Podkolzin, who's done less. So Draisaitl doesn't need McDavid at even strength, for sure. And the next one is, let's furnish McDavid with some other guys, like even Hyman. We all love Hyman's game, but him and McDavid don't have last year's chemistry this year. Fire it up, man. Change things up. What you've been doing for 65 games, it's not there right now. They need a fresh look, pal.
Yeah, the one thing I'll say about Podkolzin, and I watched him last night, and to me, he's a younger version of Janmark, who's a little bit more physical. He's really good on the penalty kill. Like, his defensive zone instincts, man, like, he made 3 unreal reads on the PK last night, and I was just like, okay. And so when I watch it, I'm like, why do they need Janmark? Like, when Frederick's healthy and when Kane's healthy, that's 2 guys out of last night. So even if you think Janmark's in spec, that's like, you got to think who's coming out of that lineup. There's some guys there that, and I know that Kapanen necessarily isn't a natural center. God, his speed, at least I notice him sometimes. Like, there's just so many guys that I think will be easy takeouts. Like Trent Frederick, I'm hearing like maybe next Saturday at the earliest, probably still not till the following Wednesday, but he is going to start skating next week, and probably he's hoping to skate with the team at some point next week. And when he comes back, I think he'll be such a boost just of energy, because man, there's so many shifts that it's like shift after shift after shift. And unless it's Draisaitl doing something, McDavid a little bit, there's not a lot of offensive energy that comes from this group right now.
No, and listen, I think what people have to realize, like, we're in the room, and I talk to these guys, and they're dying to win. Like, they don't love this either. We hear people, you see people, they're barely trying. No, they're trying. It's not working. I thought Brett Kulak, who's such an honest cat, right? Like, Brett just tells you, what he thinks. And I thought last night he came out, and first thing he said was, hey, we're going through it. We know we're in tough here, and we're not pointing fingers at each other, and we're trying to work through. Like, they're deep in this thing. And, sometimes you come up the other end, and sometimes you're shot out of a cannon. Sometimes you never come up the other end. We're going to see what happens here. But I guess I want to say, like, these guys they're dying to figure this thing out too. You're not, the fan out there listening to this radio right now, you're not the only one. They want to win even more than you want them to win. So let's see. Last night might have been a bit of a rock bottom. Let's see what we see tonight.
It'll be interesting. Spec, enjoy the weekend. Man, it could be real ugly when they come back to town, or they'll be coming back hot after 2 wins in New York. We'll find out.
Well, watch out. If you're starting to see in the standings where Calgary is, that's probably not a good thing.
Touche. Have a good weekend, Spec.
All right, man.
That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report. Did you know the Oilers they're as close to Calgary as they are to Vegas right now? So 7 points out of first, 7 points out of the final wildcard spot. So pitter patter, they need to get at her. That's the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. Now we come back. We got 5 questions. Craig Button, lots of your text, 833-401-1440 on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
There's one. And another. No, not spring flowers yet, but rather huge deals. It's GMC's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick. Nab 0% financing up to 72 months on our most popular Sierra half-tons, or massive discounts starting at $8,000. Choose your truck from a great selection, like the fabulous all-new Canyon, right up to the trailer-hauling Sierra HD with the industry-leading Duramax diesel. Spring into Wolf GMC Buick today and snag your truck. And see the
You can't be
savings
certain
at
if Stan Bowman has that sitting on his desk.
Saturday nights were made for
Well, you know what I
WHL Hockey
mean,
Nice District.
right?
Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat. And tomorrow night, your Edmonton Oil Kings square off.
Kind of like the
with their
bat
Eastern
phone in the
Conference
iconic
rivals, the Prince Albert
1960s
Raiders.
TV
Oil Kings
series.
will wear vintage specialty
Batman,
jerseys just for this matchup
that
from
was
the auction
only
that raffle
used.
off after the game. Plus, at every home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king size.
If the Oilers GM hasn't fully engaged the aforementioned apparatus or thing, you have to wonder if his jittering hand or finger is inches from that. The red
Mr. Ruger checks off his bucket
doohickeys.
list. Skydiving is tops on my list.
There you go, Christopher and Matthew.
Your bucket list, Mr. Ruger?
Doohickey.
Definitely the Rubbermaid H2864R. It has 14 quarts of
Insert the-
capacity with a spill-free pour
Oh,
spout
as
and a
in, oh
corrosion
man, I don't know
resistant
what the hell is going on with the Oilers.
You know that a bucket list isn't a list of nice buckets, right?
Third game of their New York road trip, Islanders tonight. And if Connor's crew doesn't win tonight, I think there is
Mr. Rooter.
concern. Go into Madison Sunday to close out the road trip. Lose that one, and the pressure to win becomes almost insurmountable pressure. 5-game homestand starting Tuesday. Grumpy fan base? You tell me. And they're be tough. Vegas and Dallas among the 5 games. The Oilers good. The Oilers are competitive. Hockey club tonight. More important to see that themselves might and to start building. One shift at a time. Confidence of which will serve them well. Going into the playoffs, lose tonight on the island, and stand by.
Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
With the lead up to the playoffs underway, players are definitely stepping up their game.
And the fans are doing the same. Simple snacks like chips and dip may work at the front half of the season, but now more and more fans are rocking the Wilhauk beef jerky for game time get-togethers.
Just make sure you bring enough for everyone if you want to be invited back for the playoffs.
Make your next hockey game day a Will Hockey game day with Wilhauk beef jerky, only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't win games with salad.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, till the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
The 2025 Ram 1500 Motor Trend's Truck of the Year in St. Albert Dodge is knocking 10% off the price. That's right, 10% off every single Ram 1500 they have in stock, and over 100 are available. These are the 2025's new interior and drivetrain options with increased horsepower and better fuel economy. Other dealers save their best deals for last year's model. At St. Albert Dodge, they're taking 10% off the newest, hottest truck on the lot. That's how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
At Papa John's, you get your everyday favorites for just $9.99 each when you order 2 or more items from the Papa Pairings menu. When you order more, you save more. Choose from medium one-topping pizzas, boneless wings, papadillas, breadsticks, cheese sticks, and desserts. It's easy to order all your favorites when they're just $9.99 each. So the next time your friends come over to eat your food, check out the Papa Pairings menu to save. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. Feeding a crowd, get the triple play. 3 large specialty or 5 topping pizzas for only $54 when you use promo code 3PLAY at papajohns.ca.
Look good, feel good, play good. It's the Jason Gregor Show. Thanks for listening to Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Positive Friday rolls through. How are you? Of course, Oilers in action tonight, and then they take on the Rangers on Sunday, the Rangers will be playing second half of back-to-back, although never not a lot of travel there, so not sure it'll be much of an issue. And hey, if the Oilers don't pull up their socks and dig in a little bit more here, feel free to go to the net. Like when you watch last night, and not every goal is going to be a pretty goal. Get some bodies in front of the net, for goodness sakes. They need, to me, they need more of that, and they need it quickly, especially from like your bottom six forwards. They're not tic-tac-toe guys. When was the last time you saw a layered screen? And you know what a layered screen is? And if you don't, go read my article today at OilersNation.com. I got a screen capture of it that illustrates perfectly. Like, that's one of the best layered screens I'd seen by the Devils. And it was Heischer and Meyer on the Bratt goal. Go watch it. The goalie, and I talked to Woodley about it, says the hardest part about seeing through the screen's the one thing. It's trying to find the release point and when the guy's releasing it. This guy, in this case, being Bratt. In that case, it goes, like, you've got not only their two guys, then you had Kulak in there. Like, that was a perfectly executed layered screen by the Devils. And honestly, when was the last time you saw that from the Oilers? I'm trying to think. Anyone? Please let me know, because I can't recall it. So when you can't always pretty your way into the net, right? As eventually, even if you're pretty, you need some substance. You just do. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by the Brick and the Furniture Mattress Store. Been struggling sleeping, and maybe it's not just because your team is struggling. Maybe it's just, your mattress. Oh, you got a cranky back. It's not good. We'll go see the experts at the Brick Mattress Store, and they will ensure that you get a better sleep.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Gregor, another day. We got another game day prediction and mix in a bold prediction as the Oilers take on the Islanders.
They're not winning. What I'm seeing. That's not, I know it's Positive Friday, but sorry, I don't see that. So, Oilers lose the bold prediction. There'll be a total of 1 power play in the game.
Oh, that would suck for the Oilers. I'm with you. And maybe in a way to reverse the fashion and change things up. I'll take an Oilers loss as well. And Connor McDavid, pointless. Now go prove us wrong. Question number 2. When the season does come to the end, where do you think the Oilers will be in the playoff picture?
Well, they're going to be in the 2-3 slot for sure in the Pacific. They still got a schedule that's going to help them later, so I still think they'll find a way to get back on track and finish second.
Tough to disagree with you. I think there are some, statistically speaking, and I know the Oilers don't always bring it against the bad teams, but they have the second easiest air quote schedule. So I think they'll get back into second, get home ice, and take on the Kings once again. Question number 3 for you. Ovi continually inching closer to Gretzky's record. When do you think he will break it?
What's he need? 9?
9 to break it, 8 to tie. Yep.
Yeah. Good question. I originally was hoping that it would have been later this month, but it's likely, if you look at it, so he's not going to score a goal a game. Like, God, you'd like, you'd love it, but it's not possible. So I'll say game number 79.
I'm going to go game 82 in Pittsburgh against the Penguins. Just gets it in to beat the record against Sidney Crosby. Final game of the season. Question number 4 for you. Today is the late Kirby Puckett's birthday. In honor of Kirby, the MLB season gets going next Tuesday in Japan. Who are your player or players that are must watch that you tune in to see for this upcoming baseball season?
Go ahead.
I would say there's probably a couple. Ohtani's going to be one, I think, for everybody. I enjoy watching Bobby Witt Jr. with Kansas City, and in honor of Declan, a guy I know he's a big fan, Ellie De La Cruz from the Cincinnati Reds as well.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good one, actually. He is he's a very well. I'll say this. I want to see Shohei pitch again. So that will be that to me is definitely something I'll be watching. And I'm going to be watching very closely on Vladimir Guerrero. And does he raise his stock even more as a potential free agent?
Oh, it's going to be tough. Final question for you today. Actor Michael Caine turns 92 years old today. Of all his films, do you have a favorite?
Ooh, gosh. That's a good question. I didn't mind him in Inception. Thought that was pretty good, but his best movie that I recall, now I haven't seen it in a long, long time, was Foxhole in Cairo. Again, these are movies my dad always introduced me to when I was younger, and so Foxhole in Cairo is a movie I remember. Watched it probably, like, it came out in sometime in the 60s. I don't know when. But my dad was big into watching a lot of those old films. Like, he had some classic, The Fly. I don't know how many times I watched that movie. But I do specifically remember Foxhole in Cairo. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot dating back a long time ago, right? Like 70s, late 60s. The Batman series for me, like, is always going to be atop the list. But I remember him maybe first from Austin Powers in Goldmember as Nigel Powers, Austin's kind of Playboy father. So that's where I'll put him as my top movie. I found a list of his greatest movies. It came in at 55th. So the critics might not agree with me, but as a young kid, I love the Austin Powers series. So Nigel Powers.
Nigel Powers. All right. There you go. Let's get to a break. We got Craig Button coming up. A lot of people texting in, blame it on Rio. Yeah, that was a good one. Also, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Yeah, a lot of people agreeing with you. Nigel Powers is his best role from Evan.
Younger generation, maybe. Yeah.
Gregor, are you 100% the Oilers make the playoffs? Well, yeah, come on. I'm not. Well, you got anybody who listens to the show knows me. I am not I never think worst case scenario. I just don't do it in life. It's just not how I'm wired. I never have. So like the Oilers aren't that bad. Like, let's be realistic here. They're in a funk. There's no doubt about it. Now the funk keeps going on, and that becomes, to go from being the best team in the league for 30 games to suddenly being the worst team in the league for 15. It's impressive. Not necessarily in a positive way, but it's impressive. And the Oilers, they'll find a way out of it. They're not getting caught by not Calgary and Vancouver would have to catch them both to knock. Like, come on, that's not happening. No, not the case at all. Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by your Alberta GMC dealers. Truck month is on now at GMC. You can get a $5,000 cash purchase credit on a 2025 Sierra HD model. See more at gmccanada.ca.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day, the Oilers looking to bounce back and get into the win column as they take on the Islanders out in New York. Puck drop 5:30. We've got pregame coverage for you right here on Sports 1440 at 4:30 with Andrew Walker and Jason Gregor. Elsewhere around the NHL, Red Wings are in Carolina. The Jets host the Stars. Habs take on the Flames. Ducks host the Preds. And Utah heads to Seattle. In the association, the Toronto Raptors also taking on Salt Lake City's team, the Utah Jazz. That gets going at 7:30. The Nuggets up against the Lakers, Hornets in San Antonio. Timberwolves host the Magic. Cavs take on the Grizz. Rockets host the Mavs. Clippers up against the Hawks. And the Heat welcome the Boston Celtics to Miami at the Players' Championship. Right now, there is a tie atop the leaderboard. Akshay Achia and Min Woo Lee, both 11 under par. American JJ Spawn sitting in second spot at 10 under. As for the Canadians in the event, Taylor Pendrith right now sitting 5 under par. Corey Connors 4 under. Both players will make the cut, which is expected to be -1. That means Adam Hadman, Nick Taylor, Mackenzie Hughes, Adam Svensson, and Ben Silverman all will miss out. In the BCHL, Spruce Grove on the road in Penticton taking on the league-leading V's. That gets going at 8 o'clock in the Edmonton area. You've got Sherwood Park hosting Cranbrook. Puck drop at 7 o'clock in that one. And in the AJ Devons in Bonnyville, you've got Floyd taking on GP, Drayton Valley and Whitecourt. Calgary meets Drumheller and Olds hosting Canmore. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Craig Button from the NHL on TSN and get to Oilers pregame coverage. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray radio station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Volvo Cars Edmonton invites you to their biggest sale of the year. The March showroom event is on now. Lease or finance a 2025 XC60 plug-in hybrid from 1.99% and save $3,500. Lease a 2025 XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save $5,500. Lease or finance a 2024 XC40 plug-in hybrid from 0.49% and save $2,500. Don't miss the March showroom event at Volvo Cars Edmonton. Great vehicles, better service. Only at VolvoCarsEdmonton.com.
Silent Ice Sports and Entertainment is an innovative market leader across Western Canada, with sports and entertainment properties including the Spruce Grove Saints, the Junior Prospects Hockey League, Silent Rides Charter Company, the Hockey Super League, and the newly launched Female Super League. Silent Ice also owns the Western Hockey League Seattle Thunderbirds and operates the Morinville AAA Arena. The Silent Ice Center, a new state-of-the-art entertainment facility, is open in Nisku, which features 2 sheets of ice, including a 1,600-seat arena and a restaurant with a viewing area.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participating McDonald's in Canada.
We've finished construction of our gamma radiation containment facility. Is it up to code? Is it going to be safe?
Sounds like a job for the men and women of Action Electrical.
Testing team reporting. We test your commercial operations using tools like infrared to ensure safe operation. Trust us to prevent potential calamity before it strikes.
Facing an electrical menace? Call the men and women of Action. Operating throughout Alberta at actionelectrical.net.
There's an old saying that goes, many hands make light work. We believe that at GS Construction. So what does it mean? It means a task is easier to complete when many people work together. It also means that GS Construction is preparing for the start of the 2025 season and is hiring. Currently, we're on the lookout for top men and pipe layers. So if you're one of those skilled pros who know how to do your job safely and efficiently, we're interested. Come join a team that's as solid as the infrastructure we build and maintain. Visit tsconstruction.ca today.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertips. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on playalberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
From coast to coast, Napa Auto Parts is here to keep your car running longer and stronger, Canada. Did you know that Napa Auto Parts has close to 600 stores throughout Canada and over 90 years of history? Napa offers a wide range of quality replacement auto parts, accessories, supplies, tools, equipment, and proudly keeps Canadians moving day in, day out. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store today or visit online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Come on in. Nissan is proudly celebrating 60 years in Canada. Our best-selling Rogue is built for everyday adventure and features standard all-wheel drive and dual-zone automatic climate control. Lease the 2025 Rogue for 30 months or finance for 24 months at 0.99%. Plus, get $1,000 anniversary bonus cash. Offer available on S all-wheel drive model. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
The Alzheimer's Face-Off presented by Christensen Communities Limited hits the ice April 25th to 27th, pairing hockey fans with some of their favorite players from the NHL Alumni Association for a fun-filled weekend in support of the Alzheimer's Society of Alberta and Northwest Territories. Friday features a champions luncheon followed by the teams hitting the ice on Saturday and Sunday in a friendly hockey tournament at Terwilliger Rec Center. To purchase a table to the champions luncheon or to learn more about how you can get involved in the tournament, visit alzheimersfaceoff.ca for more info.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Used RV Show. Looking for an RV, but you prefer a pre-owned? Shop over 100 used RVs from multiple dealers indoors at the Used RV Show this weekend. Visit usedrvshow.ca for details.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 4 o'clock on a lovely, positive Friday. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Orders Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having an awesome, awesome day. The Gregor Show is presented by our good friends at PlayAlberta.ca. Get in the game. Use the promo code Gregor50, and you'll get a free $50 play at PlayAlberta.ca. As we are going to go around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's, where stop in if you haven't tried the Big Arch. They haven't. Also, the value meals under $4,000 or $4,000. Yeah, everything's under $4,000. Under $4. That's a great deal right now. At McDonald's, you can get the Big Arch for less than $4,000. Fantastic deal. Only at McDonald's. As we welcome in former NHL GM, Stanley Cup winner, ace analyst and scout for TSN, Craig Button joins us. Craig, how you doing?
Doing good. I thought that when you said 4,000, I'm going, is that how much the tariffs are going to cost us now?
Yeah. So well, who knows what's going to happen there. So I don't even want what's positive Friday. We won't get into that lunacy, but
okay. Yeah. It was met with just a little bit of levity.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to the orders in a sec, Craig, but of course we go around the NHL. I want to talk about, when I look at the Eastern Conference and the Atlantic Division, the Ottawa Senators are a team that's gearing up at the right time. Allmark made, one of the best saves of the year last night, and they get another win. They obviously, the Brady Tkachuk injury, hope it's nothing serious, but Ottawa looks like, they're going to get in for the first time since 2017, which is good for that team. Toronto, Tampa, and Florida are battling it out, and finishing first means you avoid the other two teams. And it would also could mean a Florida-Ottawa matchup, which would mean the Tkachuk brothers. That would be great. But I look at Toronto lately, Craig, and I just think, man, Florida kind of spanked them last night without some of their best players. Is that a concern at all? Or is that just, it's a regular season game, so it doesn't mean as much as the playoffs?
Well, how about last Saturday when the Colorado Avalanche owned them? I mean, that was a 7-4 game, 2 empty net goals. If it wasn't for Stolars, they lose 13-4. I mean, Toronto was never in the game. Yeah, they had 4 goals, but it was more or less. Blackwood didn't have a great night, but that game was owned. Oh, let's go to the previous game. What about when Vegas thumped them there? Oh, are Florida, Colorado, and Vegas Stanley Cup contenders? Toronto wasn't close. But last night's game, even strength, they were dominated. I'm not so sure Toronto was a real top-end Stanley Cup contender, Jason. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Is Austin is he banged up? He's got to be, isn't he? Or is he just having a mess season?
No, I think that there has to be. You can't perform at the level that he has performed at over the course of his career, 69 goals last year. He just hasn't been able to find that form this year. And we know he's missed games. We know that he's missed games because of injury. So I'm going to, because we've seen him be so dominant for good stretches of time, including winning the trophy, that there's got to be something that's not right with him. And, that impacts the Toronto Maple Leafs. That impacts the Toronto Maple Leafs in a significant way. But it doesn't change the fact, it does change the fact that it takes Toronto from being a real dangerous team to a less dangerous team.
Yeah. Oh, no, totally it does. Because
exactly.
Like Toronto's real problem is when you look in the playoffs, who are Florida's best players? Their best players, right? Who were Edmonton's best players last year in the playoffs? Their best players, right? When Colorado won, McKinnon, McCarr, you can get a nice guy, Lehkonen comes in and chips in, and that's great. But if your best guys are your best guys, you're not winning. And too often in the playoffs, Toronto's best guys don't produce close to the level that they have in the playoffs. That's just a fact.
Well, that is a fact. And you need all your players performing really ideally to the best of their abilities. So you're right. I remember Wayne Gretzky telling me in 2006 after Canada lost at the Olympics, he said, there's no way you can win when your best line is your best players, your 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 forwards. There's just no way. And I think that you're right. I mean, Toronto to me now, in their quest to try to score in different ways, their defense has become a problem. And I know they reinforced the blue line with Tanev and Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Brandon Carlo at the trade deadline, but their defensive play isn't that good. Their defensive play was much, much better the last 2 years, and the scoring. So now you're not scoring at the same clip, and now your defensive play is a problem. Boy, that is not a good combination, Jason.
Yeah. Oh, totally. I agree with you on that. The Washington Capitals, Craig, how good are they?
Yeah, and sometimes teams find themselves in a place where you ask that question, and it's a legitimate question. The Washington Capitals, to me, are a good team. They're big, they're heavy, they have skill, their defensive play is good, their goaltending has been really good. Pierre-Luc Dubois is having a fantastic season. Dylan Strome, fantastic season. Go and look at their top 6 scorers. That's their top 2 lines. So now you're getting scoring from their top 2 lines. You're getting scoring in that secondary area down their lineup. Their defensive play is really good. I think people are sleeping too much on the Washington Capitals because I don't want to say they've come out of nowhere, but there wasn't high expectations on them. They're right there, 94 points, tied with the Winnipeg Jets. And I watched that game last night between them and the LA Kings. And this is going to help us as we talk about the Edmonton Oilers. That LA Kings team is really good. That was a big boy playoff hockey game last night by 2 big boy teams. And, Washington to me is and keep in mind, look, they're going to get second wild card in their first round matchup. Other teams are going to beat each other up. I'm not going to say there's an easy path, but the Washington Capitals are going to have the easier of any path of any team in the East.
Well, you're with Carolina using Rantanen and Hughes and all the injuries in New Jersey. I would totally agree with you, wholeheartedly. Now, do you think there's any chance if the New York Rangers get in that they could be a threat because that's the team that they would face in the first round?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think their defense can handle. I mean, we know Shesterkin's been great, but Washington hasn't given away anything in the goaltending department. Well, the New York Rangers blue line is not very good, and I think that when you look at the Washington Capitals and the size and the way they impose themselves on you, I don't think the Rangers can handle it.
Craig Button joins us. Craig, last year I got the numbers from ClearSight Analytics. The Edmonton Oilers under Chris Knobloch in 69 games, they were second in 5-on-5 high danger chances against off the rush. They ranked second in odd man rushes 5-on-5. This year, they're 18th and 17th, but since January 1st, they're 25th off the rush, and they're 30th in odd man rushes. I know everybody's all like, they don't have a goalie, they can't win. I mean, crunching all the other numbers, not to mention that the least physical team in the league. They got a bunch of forwards that you're on milk cartons right now. Like, the Oilers got a lot more problems than just a goaltender.
Oh, wow. I mean, the Edmonton Oilers right now are a problem. Like, I don't see them as any type of serious contender. I don't. I think I just talked about the LA Kings. I see the LA Kings as being able to just take them and grind them. And we know how great 97 and 29 are. But, you get past those two guys. I don't think there's enough. The playoffs are about who can go the hardest, the longest. And I don't think the Oilers have enough. I don't think they have anywhere near enough. And I go back to last summer, Jason. I've said it before. They became a much weaker team after Game 7 loss to the Florida Panthers. You can't become a much weaker team and expect to go back to the same level. And I think the Oilers are finding that out right now.
Yeah, the Oilers, like Trent Frederick when he comes in, I think will be such a boost because there's too many games where they got too many forwards that you don't even notice. And because not everybody's going to get on the score sheet. That's just a fact. So you got to do other things, and they don't have that. So he'll help if they get Kane back. That's because I was funny because I went back through all the Oilers were an average team, Craig, in their last 16 games last year. And then they're even worse in their last 10. They only won 4 of their last 10 when they were battling Vegas for first place. I look at the other thing for Edmonton, the reason why I can't completely count them out is because 97 right now isn't playing like 97. And he's proven in the past he can ratchet his game up, as we saw last year in the playoffs. And if he does that, well, then all bets are off for me.
Yeah, but again, we put it all on one player. Who can go the hardest? I don't think there's enough depth there. They're an older, slower, smaller team. I keep talking about, they had Holloway, they had Broberg, they had Fogle, they had Ryan McLeod, they had CC, they had Broberg. There's no way you can look at who they've added and go, they're a better team. They're a much weaker team. And so we know what McDavid can do. He needs help. This isn't the NBA. You need help.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Connor McDavid or Draisaitl have enough help. Their brilliance is unquestionable. There's no question about what they do. Think about what Draisaitl's doing this year with no help on him.
I know.
None.
Yeah, I agree.
Doesn't that just give him to me, it's almost like give him the Hart Trophy automatically. Because, other players at least have help. He has none. And so I know how great Connor McDavid is, and I know what he can do. I don't think this team's good enough. I just don't think they're good enough, Jason. And so, we sit here and people say, are you going to bet against McDavid? I never bet against McDavid or Draisaitl. It's not about betting, but I'm betting against the team.
Yeah, okay. It's hard to argue that the way the rest of the team is playing. There's no question about it. But the weird thing is the Oilers for 30 games are the best team in the NHL and look great in all facets. And now for 15 games are the worst team. It's so Jekyll and Hyde. And to me, the coach looks a little frustrated. I thought last night going to McDavid and Draisaitl in a 0-0 game that you weren't getting outchanced, you weren't getting outshot, anything, 10 minutes into the game, and you load up that line, to me, that's a problem right now where you're, geez, I don't like how we're going. So I got to put my nuclear option together. And my nuclear option hasn't been as nuclear as it has been in the past. As we outlined, Draisaitl has been good all year long with Podkolzin not doing a whole bunch, at least offensively, Arvidsson doing less offensively, and he's been great. I would say, hey, McDavid, you and Hyman can figure it out. You guys have been pretty good before. You two figure it out. I'll try Henrik with you, but I don't think it's right to always keep going back to McDavid and Draisaitl in a 0-0 game, 10 minutes into the game.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to argue with that. And I think that, that's what Jay Woodcroft did. And I think what happened with Jay is that it excluded players from feeling valued and feeling that they're key contributors to the team and making sure that everybody could feel that way. And I think that when Chris came in last year in so many different regards, he got so many more players involved in the importance of the game, and he didn't go that nuclear option. But here's the challenge for Chris, because the numbers are the numbers, and I still think Chris is an outstanding coach. I think that the way when they on their game, they can play really good defense. They can have a really good offensive process. Chris Knobloch's looking down his bench and going, I don't have enough players. He's not going to come out and tell you that, but he's telling you that. Yeah. He's telling you that in a different way.
Well, hey, there's a lot of guys. Because I didn't even ask Spec the question because I'm like, it doesn't matter. Who cares if Janmark's in and somebody else comes out? At this point, they're almost irrelevant because there's too many of them not doing enough when the game gets on, and that's a major problem. I do want to talk about we saw it last night, Celebrini and Bedard head to head. I know it's kind of the toilet bowl, if we want to call it that. And San Jose comes up with a win and they get the win. There's lots of talk in Chicago because they went on a little bit of a short run after they got rid of Seth Jones, and he was a real bad guy for their team. What do you make of that? Like, I don't think you can blame Chicago's struggles on Seth Jones.
Well, again, if that's what you want to do, then you got way bigger problems. And I don't think Seth Jones is a problem. I mean, the problem in Chicago is they don't have enough good players. I mean, they thought that changing the coach would affect it in a positive way. It hasn't changed much. Oh, by the way, that's exactly what Seth said. He said nothing's changed. And until something, and they got a lot of really good young prospects, and they've gone that route. But your young prospects can't carry the day. Your young prospects aren't the ones at this stage of their careers that are going to help you get to that point where you can be successful. So patience, finding players that can come in and be good players with respect to helping you win and insulating the younger players becomes really important. And I think that's where Kyle Davidson and the Chicago Blackhawks have to get themselves, because right now, they're still they're a very bad team. And here's the conundrum. The conundrum is what players are ready to go there. And I'm not trying to criticize Tyler Bertuzzi or anybody, but they're not difference makers, and they're not guys that are going to lead you away. I mean, Pat Maroon's a great guy, but Pat Maroon is a fourth line guy now that's just trying to hang on in the NHL. Like, that becomes a problem. And where it becomes a problem, it's not that they can't be influential and good people, but they're not at a stage in their careers where they help you win.
Yeah. I would agree. Like, they had it on there. 4 of the 5 youngest guys in the NHL are on those teams. Well, Nathan McKinnon said it this week. You don't win with young players. He came right out and said it. You do not win with young players. And yeah, it might be harsh for some young players to hear. Now, that doesn't mean you can't have one. Like, if you have a Makar on your team, sure, it can help. But for the most part, you don't win, right? You just don't, because they don't know how to play the game. They're not strong enough yet. There's lots of factors to it. And man, I look at Chicago and they are so far away from being competitive. It's funny to me.
Yeah. And not only far away, but you can have all these good young players, but those young players need to mature. There's physical development, mental development, emotional development. And that's what it takes to be successful in the NHL. Nate McKinnon went through it. He lived it in Colorado when they were a young team and they couldn't win. I mean, you go back and look at that season that they had in 2016-17. It was beyond awful. It was one of the worst in the history of the NHL. And so, and think about it. Nathan at that time was 21, 22 years of age.
Yeah.
He wasn't 19.
Yeah, it's you're right. And well, because hey, it's not an easy thing to do, man. It's hard to get in the NHL and it's hard to win. We've seen that for a lot of teams. So I think Chicago is still, I said it, man, like their rebuild to me started when they got Bedard, and other rebuilds, like even in Edmonton, Connor McDavid came in, kind of halfway through it, right? They had Draisaitl, they had Nurse. Chicago has nobody before he had Vlasic, maybe, but that's it. Right. And to me, that's the issue in Chicago is, they were talking last summer, Craig, that they were going to speed this up by signing all these veterans. And I'm like, you guys are fooling yourself. And this is exactly what's happened. And I'm telling you, next year, it's going to be more pain. And I think Chicago have to prepare themselves, and they have to prepare Bedard that this is not going to be a quick fix.
And I know you said that, this idea that they're going to speed it up, speed what up? I call it the natural laws of maturity, Jason. You can't speed them up. Everybody goes at their own rate. Watch what Quentin Byfield's doing now in LA. He was the second overall pick. And, and people look at him now. Well, 3 years ago, people go, is Quentin Byfield going to be a good player? It takes time, and everybody's on a different timeline. And for the Chicago Blackhawks, it's great to say we want to sign this guy and we have that guy. But you're trying to build a team, and you're trying to build it at all the different critical areas of your group. I think getting Spencer Knight is a good move. Good goaltender, can be a number one goalie. We know Bedard's good. We know they have some other good players, but it's going to take some time. It's going to take more time than they think.
Oh, God, 100%. Craig, have yourself an awesome day. And, hey, quickly, give me your thoughts on young Lardis, excuse me, the 70-goal man in the OHL, something we haven't seen very often. He has a chance to score. If he can get 75 this year, that's the most goals by any player in Major Junior in this century.
Yeah, I mean, Nick's a goal scorer. You know, in his draft year, I thought he was a lot like Mike Hoffman, that type of a goal scorer. I think that in a really good way, in a real positive way, he's rounded out his game and become more dangerous in different ways. You know, you don't want, I mean, goal scoring is really important. It's really good, but his game has really evolved and really progressed in a really positive way. And I think because of that, it's allowed him in a really significant area of his game, goal scoring, to become that much more prolific.
It's going to be fun to watch, man. I hope he gets it. That's just great to see somebody chase down something like that. 70 goals is ridiculous. Get 75, even better. Awesome stuff, Butts. Have a great weekend, man. We'll talk to you next Friday.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
That's Craig Button from TSN. It's Around the NHL, brought to you by McDonald's. 423. The Oilers, of course, taking on the Islanders. We'll get more to the pregame show coming up in a bit. But first, I want to get to the oil report brought to you by Volvo Cars Edmonton. Come and celebrate the March showroom event going on right now. You can lease or finance XC90 plug-in hybrid from 1.49% and save an additional $5,000. Great vehicles, better service at Volvo Cars Edmonton. The Oilers limping into Long Island today. Good news is they didn't have to go anywhere. Being in New Jersey, just a different bus trip as they will take on the Islanders. The Islanders, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you got to find a way to generate some power plays tonight. I know that power plays across the league are down. The Oilers, you know what? They're averaging just over 2 a game right now. It's awful. And the Islanders, though, they got the second worst. Well, they got the worst combined special teams in the NHL because their power play is dead last at 12%. And their penalty kill is 31st at 70.5. So they're at 82.5% combined. Like, there's teams whose penalty kill alone is better than that as a percentage. Like, this is going to be one of the potentially the worst seasons ever for a team as far as combined special teams efficiency. It's been awful for the Islanders. And if you're the Edmonton Oilers, you just have to find a way to get on the man. Because let's be real, right now they don't have a lot of threats outside of Draisaitl 5-on-5. Obviously, McDavid can still be a threat at any point. And could he go off for 5 points any night? Yes, he could. But you know, last night he got 2 points and gave him 60 assists for the 9th time in his career, which 9th consecutive time. He joins Wayne Gretzky as the only players to have 9 consecutive seasons with 60 assists. Gretzky did it 13 times. Now, Gretzky had 17 seasons with 60 assists. Paul Coffey is second with 11. Ray Bourque, Adam Oates each had 10. So McDavid is now 5th. And is he going to get at least 2 more seasons of 60 assists? I would think so. So probably has a very good chance to finish second. What's interesting, though, if you jump it up, there's been 427 cases where a player had 60 assist season. Just jump up to 70 assists and it drops down to 150. McDavid's had 670 assist seasons in a row and could get to 70 if he gets 10 more this year. Now, Gretzky had 13 of those. He had 16 in his career. But Mario Lemieux is the only other person to have 8. McDavid, if he gets 7, obviously that'll be the second most consecutive in NHL history. So even though he's only a decade in his career, like, there are some records that he has a legit chance at catch. No doubt. And he's going to be behind Griff. If he's not catching him, he's going to be second in a lot of other categories. So, you know, that is something to watch for McDavid. Hey, they'd love a big night from him. Heck, they would take a big night from anybody tonight. They got to show some gumption. That, to me, is probably the most disappointing part of this funk for the Oilers, is there are lots of games where you come away and I analyze the game. I rewatch all the games because, you know, I take notes and then I rewatch it later on and PVR it. And you just am like, nothing. no scrums, barely any hits. How many rebounds did they get? How many rebound chances did they have last night? Oh, I can tell you, 2. Okay, that's it. Like, it's hard enough to score in the NHL. It's way harder when you're not crashing, and not even crashing that. Just have somebody there, get some shots through. In the third period, the Oilers had 10 shots from their defensemen. None with a screen. You had the Bouchard goal. There was a stick that they tried to deflect it. People thought it got deflected. It didn't. That wasn't a screen. Like New Jersey had screens. That wasn't a screen. But on the other 9 shots, there was no one there. You're not beating NHL goalies from 50-plus feet regularly with no screens in front. It's not happening. So that's where, to me, the Oilers got to toughen up a bit. You got to be willing to pay the price if you want to score goals. And I'm looking directly at their bottom 6 guys. Like, they're not supposed to be flash and dash. Put on your hard hat and work and get to the dirty areas that you need to score. We'll come back. Walks will join us. We'll get to the pregame show and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
This is going to make you hungry. Booster Juice just dropped new guacamole and black bean grilled fresh options.
What the what?
Yeah, a guacamole black bean wrap, guacamole chicken panini, and an egg and chipotle black bean wrap.
What a trio! Holy guacamole!
Bye-bye, boring as bread sandwiches.
Guac, yeah! New flavors, new cravings.
Avocado up to wraps and paninis from Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999. Download the Booster Rewards app and order one today.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit FountainTire.com today.
Explore beyond the boundaries of capability and value during Truck Month at GMC. Right now, get 0% financing for up to 72 months on the 2025 Sierra 1500 Crew Cab Pro Graphite. With a TurboMax engine delivering 310 horsepower, GMC Pro safety features, including automatic emergency braking, plus a max towing of up to 9,500 pounds. You'll be ready for anything this truck month. Ask your GMC dealer for details.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Do it, do it, do it. Your vehicle is a big investment. Protect it at Hughes Car Wash. We use only clean, fresh water and the highest quality car wash soap. Hughes Car Wash, a car wash pros.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Hey, I know you're new here, but when you talk to customers, they know we carry multiple brands.
Okay. Hi there, this is Riverside Motorsports, Yamaha, Suzuki, KTM, Polaris, Gas, Husqvarna, Tittersled, Stasic, Talaria, Climb, Thor, Alpine Stars, 509, Troy Lee Designs, and more. Sales, how can I help you?
Located on St. Albert Trail, rideriverside.com. Riverside Motorsports. What you do for fun is our business.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Play Alberta has hundreds of casino games right at your fingertips. Join thousands discovering why Fortune Coin is one of Alberta's most popular games. Fill your reels with golden coins, multiply your prizes up to 6 times, and turn good spins into legendary ones. Land the Fortune Coin symbol to win cash, trigger the jackpot, launch the free spins bonus, and watch as the dragon takes over your screen. New players get 100 free spins only on PlayAlberta.ca. Claim your offer today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
Sports 1440 presents the Cross Mitsubishi Pregame Show. Powered by Cross Mitsubishi at 34th Avenue and 96th Street. They offer a huge selection of new and used vehicles. Check them out today. Now, here's your pregame host, Andrew Walker.
It is the Cross Mitsubishi Pregame Show. Jason Gregor, Andrew Walker with you here on Sports 1440 as the Oilers trying to get on the W side in that column on this road trip. 0-2 to start as they lose in Buffalo on Monday, lose in New Jersey last night, had a 2-1 lead, didn't hold on. Generated a lot of what I like to call hollow shots in the third period. Yeah, they had 19 on the board, but lots from distance. Only one that was a rebound and not many quality chances. So do you expect anything different tonight, Walks?
Oh, I don't know, man. Hello, everyone. I read your article today. It's an odd year, isn't it? Like, it's an odd feeling. Sometimes I get surprised. I look at the standings and it's like, yeah, you still win a whole lot more than you lose. And yet there's not a whole lot of faith in this club. Like, I still think if you do like the classic 1 to 8 seed in the Western Conference, if this was like a BCS format, right? Where you have like a stupid committee and they meet and they unveil their rankings. I feel like the Oilers are probably the 5 or the 6 seed, and it's just not what we expected this year. And then there's other years where it's like, wow, we would have killed to be a 5 or a 6 seed. So, this is a club that it comes down to your trust system and your belief system. Do you believe that they will figure it out and that experience matters? And how different is the playoffs than an 82-game regular season? Like, that's basically what it challenges your belief system as a hockey fan or a hockey connoisseur. And I don't know, man. I'm a little out of answers. I think that, the struggles this year, you can't win in the playoffs without goaltending. And I know not everybody loves the goalies, but if your goalie, doesn't matter who you are, Stuart Skinner or Connor Halley or Andrei Vasilevsky, if your goalie can't make saves, you will lose. And if he makes saves, you have a chance to win. So the Oilers are no different than anybody else. So there's the goalies. And Stuart Skinner last year, got you the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. So I'd be lying if I said I wasn't, if it wasn't a modicum of concern, but like, it is what it is with the goalies. The defense core, I like. You're getting Ekholm back. I think Bouchard will play better in the postseason. He has consistently played better in the playoffs. But like, when you're looking at this club, where they run into trouble is they don't score enough. They don't go to the hard areas enough. You wrote this article today. Just those dirty, gritty, garbage, screen, tip goals, quality of shots. It's just not there. And maybe the fact that they're well above 500 and they're cruising into the playoffs and they'll probably sleepwalk their way to the 2nd seed, which is not what we wanted this year. But it's a reality. We're left to like just trust that the Nuges and the Hymans and the Henriques and the Browns and the Janmarks, like we're just left to trust that all these guys are like, yeah, regular season doesn't matter.
Yeah, not
playoffs, time to go. Right. And it happens with different sports and different players. Like, we've seen it. Guys just turn it on and we're all sitting there like, wow, yeah, I guess, these guys have been around the block. The regular season doesn't matter as much. But, again, that's what we're left hanging our hat on. And it doesn't leave me with a ton of confidence. But game 1, if they end up facing LA or whatever it is, game 1 of the playoffs rolls around and that's when things start to matter. Now, you got to be careful. You know, you're the same distance away from Calgary as you are from Vegas right now. I'm not necessarily worried about that per se, but you know, it gets late early. Like, you got to start winning some games. They probably should have beat New Jersey. They probably should have beat Buffalo. And all of a sudden, you got arguably the two toughest tests on this road trip. So it's just been it's been a frustrating year. You know, it was a wild off season, and it's crazy that they're top 10 in goals, because I don't know who's scoring other than Draisaitl. I guess the decor, right? But
yeah, they need a few more guys. Well, Corey Perry, for his limited minutes, he gives you a lot.
Perry, the defenseman, you know, they score goals, but like Seattle's defensemen score goals, and Seattle never scores, right? So the defenseman, Draisaitl, and Perry, like, those are the groups that have probably played, in my mind, a little bit above expectations. But yeah, listen, it's nauseatingly predictable what's going on right now, and I, for one, can't wait for the playoffs, right? Because, well, you know, this is a team that's either going to bow out in 5, and then it's like, all right, let's go. Like, this is a huge offseason, you know, after an offseason failure. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, because there's still this is still an important year, right? You still have McDavid, Draisaitl, and Bouchard on extremely affordable deals, right? All 3 guys are getting gigantic raises over the next 18 months. So this is an important year. It's not a write-off year. They're getting Ekholm back. They're getting Frederick back. You know, it's just, you got to keep your head above water, and we're just left, like I said, we're left to trust that all these veterans that have been through countless playoff runs are going to suddenly play better and do the things that they're not doing right now. And I don't know if that's being overly optimistic or if it's being you know, naive. I don't know.
I think it's probably a little wishful thinking that the playoffs from last year were going to repeat themselves. You know, McDavid score 40 points, Bouchard break a record, the power play be -1 in 20, the penalty kill, be -1 over a 25 game stretch. Like, those things aren't repeatable. They're going to need other things.
Yeah. But also, that's not supposed to be sustainable. Like, that's what a Stanley Cup run is. Like, it's not supposed to be sustainable.
So you need other things that they have to do. You know, Trent Frederick, now Evander Kane, Trent Frederick come in, you know, on paper, the Oilers should naturally be a more emotionally engaged team shift after shift, because I don't think they're going to play in the same line. So, you know, one comes out of line, then you got the other. And then if you got Draisaitl and McDavid and you split those guys up across 3 lines, well, now you've got an opportunity to have some sustained momentum, because right now, and that's why I totally disagree with what Knobloch's doing lately. I think it's hurting his team by loading up the top line. Like, last night in the first period, I was like, what are you doing? I didn't understand it. Like, if you're down 2-0, you're like, okay, we got to. Okay, fine. Because you're trying to get goals, but it's a 0-0 game. You haven't given up a lot. You haven't generated a lot. There's not much going on. And now you're basically neutering your team to say 1 out of 4 lines is going to generate, and the other 3, we hope you just break even. Because you can't tell me, now he might say he wants them to score, but they're not scoring. And you're clearly weakening your other line when you take and you put Draisaitl and McDavid. Whichever line you want to weaken, that's what you're doing.
So what did you make of, so in the post game, he basically said, because it's funny, for the record, like, let's throw this caveat out there. I quite like Knobloch as a head coach. And I do think that the Oilers have found something here. I really like Knobloch. I do. And I think that you got to be, it's the same as with Tocchet in Vancouver. The second things don't go your way, it's like your reaction to like, oh, like is Tocchet on the...
Oh, so I don't think the coach is on the block, but he can learn some things. Every coach.
Correct. Right. Yep. So I just want to throw that out there, because we get into this habit of saying, oh, is the coach on his last legs? I like Knobloch a lot. Yeah. I think he's a really good coach. He is obviously... and what I like about him is that he kind of keeps his emotions in check, but he's obviously getting as frustrated as you or I or any fan out there. And in the post game last night, he said, and to me, it comes down to like, well, I'm at my wit's end. But if I put those two guys together, I'm guaranteeing myself 2 goals a game. And everybody else, when they're not with McDavid and Draisaitl and not deferring or whatever the language you used was, I find everybody else plays better when they're tasked with like, man, you have to play better because there's no 97 or 29. So I understand, but to me, he is desperate to get Frederick or Evander Kane or anything to give him some options because he is sick and tired of nobody doing friggin' anything.
Yeah, well, the one option that he hasn't tried that I don't understand, because he tried it last year and in a limited sample size, and I think that's important to say, but in limited time, they only played 87 minutes together, but they scored 9 goals.
The Henry option, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So if you want to play Nugent Hopkins at center, and that third line, it's not like that. It's like, oh, geez, if we take Henrique off, we're going to lose some chemistry on the third line. There is no chemistry on the third line right now. There's none. It's not doing anything. It's a candle in the wind. And I would try Henrique and move Nugent Hopkins there as an easy starting point just to see. And, at some point I go to Arvidsson and say, are you ready to show up? Right? Like, yeah, okay, you scored your nice one-timer against Dallas. What has he done? Like, has he had a scoring chance since that goal? Usually a goal like that ignites a guy.
Yeah.
Has Arvidsson had a scoring chance since then?
Yeah, no, the last 2 games, and I do think, and I read your article today, I do think the Oilers outplayed the Sabres and the Devils, and at the same time, you can't leave it to, it's a coin flip, or we got goalied, or we didn't bury, because it just looks so familiar.
Oh yeah,
like
last night I thought against New Jersey, and that's why I watched the whole game over again. I charted all the shots. Jake Allen faced 2 danger chances. One was Draisaitl, and he scored. They had one other chance in the third period, because I was like, oh my God, they had 19 shots at 6. I went through every one. They had so many, just no chance of scoring shots. There's no traffic, and it's just a shot on goal that goes up on the scoreboard, but it's like, you're just padding Jake Allen's save percentage. That's all you're doing at that point. And it's not like New Jersey had 2 smart plays in the third period. Like, get traffic in front. You know what? Now, I know Knobloch said it was a turnover on the second goal, and I was like, okay, I'll watch that again. And it was Jones had it, and at the blue line, it just kind of slipped off a stick, right? So to me, like, he wasn't even trying to make he wasn't trying to dangle. He just lost a puck, right? And so, in theory, yes, it's a turnover. But New Jersey got the puck at the top of the circle in their own zone and had to make like 4 plays. Then they get in, then they cycle it around.
Yeah, that
could have been a dump and chase.
No, correct. That's a coach. That's coach speak. Like that's a try to deflect. I don't know.
No, I think it's a coach who's frustrated, really. And I think if he would go back,
obviously,
go back and watch the replay, he'd be like, yeah, okay, you know what? That's probably not like what I would deem a turnover. Like, when there's been games where you've had guys serve up a pizza right on the guy's stick and they score 2 seconds later, now that's a turnover.
Correct.
Right? Or it's or Podkolzin against Buffalo, right at the offensive blue line. You're trying to fancy play, doesn't work. That's a real turnover. Jones's one to me was a little bit different, and that's fine. It's, maybe he's trying to elevate the bar of what he wants from his players, and that's okay. And no offense, it's Jones, so you can say it to him, because you know what? He's got to play desperate every night, or else he's probably not going to play. But I think the coach is frustrated, as he should be, no doubt. But this is where, Gulletson or Coffee, someone's probably just got to say, hey, man, like, let's exhale. Our team still has some good attributes. We've got to just figure out a way to try to get them out.
Cross Mitsubishi pregame show. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today. Drive your ambition. 9605 34th Ave, crossmitsubishi.ca. Jason Gregor, Andrew Walker, Connor Halley, the Jason Gregor Show, just so welcoming for the pregame show here. So the Henrique thing, Donovan Paulson has been yelling from his producer chair about the Henrique thing for a while now. And I don't disagree, but also, I look at it this way. You're trying everything, And like, there's not some magical solution. Like your magical solution, like what do you think's going to happen? Right? Henrique plays with McDavid, and all of a sudden, oh my God, how did we miss this? All of a sudden, we have this amazing first line, and this it filled up the roster perfectly. That's not how it's going to go. Like there might be a little chemistry. It comes down to like to get to the level that you want to get to. All right, like in April and May and June, you need everybody. There's not some, well, why doesn't this idiot put Henrique with McDavid? Sure. Okay. It might be a placebo effect. There might be some chemistry. It might fill things out, but like you need everybody. And you have almost nobody going.
No,
So the answer does not lie in it's not like, oh, let's jumble up the lines. Like that's just not your answer. We're 65 games in.
Yeah, to me, the reason I make the changes, I've tried everything else and it hasn't worked.
Well, sure.
So I try that because even if it gets me one goal, that might be the difference in winning a game. And now everybody exhales a little bit. They leave the rink happier. We know what happens when you win games, that usually it's a little bit better. And like this is now 15 games where they got the worst record in the NHL, tied with San Jose. Right? The worst record over a 15-game stretch currently in the NHL. Like it's not good at all. And I'm like, Henrique hasn't done enough of what you'd like. The Nugent Hopkins, like, let's just call a spade a spade. The McDavid, Hyman, Nugent Hopkins line, the Oilers can't win if that line's not going. We can talk all we want about the bottom six guys, but the truth is, if that line, who plays the most minutes, has the most talent, doesn't produce, I'm not expecting the third and fourth line guys got to chip in here and there. But eventually, you need your top guys to be the guys who score the majority of your offense. That says it on any team that wins, right? Like everybody always talks about you get a depth scorer can score you one or two big goals. Your top dog scored the majority of your goals. That's just how it is.
But like, and here's the thing, and this is why I guess you can take encouragement as well out of this, is that the Oilers are still like fighting for second, if not first, in the division, and those big guys have not scored.
Except Draisaitl.
And, well, that top line, the depth guys have given you nothing.
Yeah.
The power play does not get power plays.
Yeah, but it's good when it gets it. That's the fun part.
The power play's fine. Like I was talking to the guys at hockey today in the room, like this is, and guys are like, wow, time to change the power play and take off Nuge. Man, the power play's fine. Yeah. The biggest issue is that you're never getting power plays.
Like, do people know? So through 65 games last year,
it's the best power play in the history of the league.
But even if you say, well, it's not as good as last year. Well, here's the thing. Through 65 games last year, you want to know what the Oilers' power play was? 26.6%. Do you know what it is this year? 26.4%. The difference.
Stunning. That's stunning because it feels like it doesn't do anything.
Because
they never get on the power play.
Yeah, they've scored 9 fewer goals because they've had 32 fewer chances.
Yeah.
It's basically insane. One every second game. It's a half a power play chance less per game. Now, power plays are down across the NHL, but the Oilers are down. And I am going to look at, over the weekend to see kind of like, are there certain teams that are down more? Because the Oilers at this time last year had taken, they had 192 power plays. This year they've had 159. So 33 difference in 65 games.
That's huge.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference between being first in the division and not, to be honest. But listen, it's not to excuse this group. Because there's way too many passengers. I think we can agree on that. But there is a roadmap that this team is actually good, but it's been a frustrating year. Dallas on the text line. I think everything is everyone is overreacting a bit. He says, I think this team knows what it takes to get to the Stanley Cup. I think they're saving themselves. I think they'll ramp up the intensity when it's necessary. If they get 9-10 goaltending, they'll have a good shot. I mean, I don't know if I agree or disagree, but I get it. That's kind of what we're left with, right? Like all this frustration over 82 games, they get into the playoffs and you're like, oh, where has this team been? That could happen. Like it could, but it feels a little naive because it's not what the front office envisioned, right? They're not like, oh, we'll muddle through and then we'll turn it up when it matters. Like that's not the idea here.
Yeah,
but that's the reality.
Yeah, that's fair. That's kind of where they're at. right now. And, when Frederick comes in, he'll just add a jolt that a team desperately needs. He's not going to make everybody else naturally finish plays better, but there is when you have a little bit more energy on your bench, it does elevate everybody else. Anybody who's ever played hockey, if all of a sudden you got a chirper on your team, yada, 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 he's not. Well, all of a sudden, even if this guy's kind of annoying, but then the other team cheap shots him, well, now you're pissed off and you can't do that to my teammate, right? It's like brothers. When brothers will hit each other, and like, I can tell my brother he's a loser and whatever, but the minute someone else calls him out, well, now you got a problem, right? That's just how it is. It's just how it is in life. And the Oilers right now, like, they don't even have, sometimes you got to have a scrum just to get people fired up, like get somebody annoyed, and they got none of it.
So, yeah, it is a thing. So, as you know, the last year, I lived over in Davos, Switzerland with my fiance. She was playing pro hockey over there. And the men's, ladies teams, they work congruently. It's super cool. And the HC Davos men's team, famous team, obviously, a great club team in Europe, beautiful rink. And so Josh Holden is the head coach there, former Regina Pat star. And then Glenn Metropolitan, you remember Metro? He had a wonderful NHL career, really nice guy. We became friends with him. So he's the assistant coach over there. And midway through this season, and the Swiss League, I love it. It's a wonderful league, but no one has ever dropped the gloves in the history of the Swiss League. Like, it's not that league. And midway through this year, HC Davos announced a transaction. They signed Brendan Lemieux, of all guys. Shocker, right? Okay. Shocker. And so I texted Metropolitan. I'm like, Brendan Lemieux? Like, what is happening over there? And he's like, listen, we got pushed around a little bit in the playoffs last year. It still could be a physical league. And he's like, we felt that we had to do something to make everybody on the bench a couple inches taller.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I don't know how it's working out. I don't think it's working out that well, but it is a thing, right? It is a thing. And with Trent Frederick and Evander Kane, I go back and forth because I love that, man. I love big boy hockey. I think it matters. I think that, everybody getting an inch or two taller on the bench goes a long way. And at the same time, where we envision this club at the beginning of the year, you want to be firing on all cylinders. You want to be rolling. And then it's like, and as a plus, we're adding these guys. But now it's like, there's this aura where it's like, these guys, better save the season. And that's not good. Right? Like, it's not ideal. And so that's where I'm sitting here today. I'm excited for those guys, but it was not supposed to carry this weight of importance. It was supposed to be like hey, and maybe you slide Evander Kane in the second round or something like that. But all of a sudden it's, these guys better get back and they better be good. And that it's not great.
Well, who was it the other day that said, hey, even good teams go through funks, but this now is an extended funk. Usually a funk can be 6, 7, 8 games in the middle of a season and team kind of whatever, and they hit a dip and then they come out. And I'd looked at Tampa Bay's years when they were back-to-back cup champs and, they had a funk, but they still ended up, now they were 6th one year in the East, and then the other year they were never like, they didn't win their division anytime when they were, when they were winning cups, but, they'd been there, they'd successful. It works. I know Florida obviously was great last season, and every pass going to be different, but I just look at how the Oilers are playing right now, and they have to sharpen things up. The good news is they got 17 games to do it, and you know what, maybe they'll have 2 more stinkers, and then they get home, and all of a sudden Ekholm gets back in the lineup next Tuesday, which is what I'm expecting, and then you get Frederick in, and then maybe all of a sudden slowly guys start turning it around. But it's valid to have concerns about the speed of the team, the tenacity of the team, and right now the commitment of the team to play the right way.
Mm-hmm.
That's totally fair. So,
and I also look at, like, let's say they get Ekholm back and Frederick back, and they get on it doesn't take much, honestly, like a little modest 3 or 4 game win streak. You go into the playoffs, like, who out there is going to want to play the Oilers, right? The team that has won 6 playoff rounds over the last 3 years. Like, do the Kings want to play the Oilers? I doubt it.
Well, because you have McDavid and Draisaitl, that is definitely the
risk.
It's
a nuclear,
sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, there's obviously some things that can go wrong, but there's some things that can go right as well. Yeah. I mean, so yeah, that's where I'm at. It's just been not what I expected, I would say, this season. But yeah, there's still runway. I see everybody's texts on the text line. I have the over-under. I'm prepared today, actually. I didn't get pulled over by the Popo. So the over-under for the River Cree Resort and Casino. You ready for this? This is how it works. Give us a text on the Weiss Johnson text line, 1-833-401-1440. Over or under, and you could win the easiest $100 you've ever won. It's all about the depth scoring. This seems crazy. It seems like an easy over, but it's clearly not. 1.5 is the number. Players that score goals tonight against the Islanders that are not named Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid. 1.5. Over or under on the Weiss Johnson text line. Yeah, I know, right?
I'd go. So Bouchard's a good bet because he's kind of on fire right now.
Okay,
goals,
so there's one.
Mm-hmm.
Now find another one. I dare you. The River Cree Resort and Casino. You could win $100. Catch all your favorite sports, including UFC and boxing, live on the big screens at Tap 25 and in the Center Bar. Visit rivercreeresort.com. So 1.5. That's it. You need 2 goals that are not from number 29 and not from number 97. That's it. Will they get it done? Send us a text, over or under, on the Weiss Johnson text line. Well, here they come. It's about split so far. I would probably, listen, safe bet is probably under with how they've been going. They haven't scored more than 2 as a team in a while, but yeah, we will see. All right, so Landon Ferraro is going to join us momentarily, former NHLer for Honda Canada. We'll give you a look at the lineups, of course. We'll hear from the head coach as well. It's all ahead on the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show here on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
Free matchups are brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. For all your automotive needs, go to your trusted experts in high-quality parts, tools, equipment, and more. That's Napa know-how. The pregame show is brought to you by Cross Mitsubishi. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Ave and crossmitsubishi.ca.
What keeps Alberta business moving? It's pallets. Whether you're shipping, manufacturing, or looking for in-house storage solutions. Hi, it's Andrew with the Pallet Recycler here in Edmonton, and we've been providing reliable, affordable, recycled, and custom pallets for local businesses for the past 30 years. Contact the Pallet Recycler at 825-474-1981 to find out why recycled pallets are the most cost-effective way to move and store your product. Learn about our recycling program as well at thepalletrecycler.ca.
Spring cleanup is a breeze with the Lawnmower Hospital and Echo Pro Attachment Series. With one power head and 16 different attachments, the Echo PAS powers through almost any spring cleanup job. And speaking of power, Echo now has a battery-powered power head that uses the same attachments as gas. Find out how commercial landscapers can save 20% for 24 months with the Landscaper Fleet Discount Program. See lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Johnson, whoa.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. We've been family owned and operated for nearly 50 years, a foundation built on trust. Using our extensive experience, we'll make recommendations with your best interests in mind. So while many heating and air conditioning companies offer specials and huge discounts, financing options, and no overtime charges ever, we'll keep doing what we do best, providing you a quote that is honest and transparent, ensuring you get what's best for your family. Visit wjheats.com today.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at hughescarwash.com.
Are you tired of waking up tired? Are you tossing and turning all night and stiff and sore the next morning? If your sleep is suffering, it's time to visit the Brick Mattress Store. Their sleep experts will help you find the right support for a restful night's sleep. Back sleeper, side sleeper, hot or cold, there is a perfect mattress for you. Plus, with next day delivery, your best night's sleep could be tomorrow. Check out the Brick Mattress Store locations in Spruce Grove, South Edmonton, St. Albert, and Leduc, and start waking up refreshed.
Come on in. Nissan is proudly celebrating 60 years in Canada, where you can get the versatile Kicks Play for a great price that offers best-in-class fuel economy. It's a great time to press play. Right now, lease the 2025 Kicks Play for the equivalent of $60 weekly for 39 months. Offer includes $1,000 anniversary bonus cash. That's for $261 monthly with 2.95 down at 4.99%. Fuel economy based on highway and combined. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
At Cross Mitsubishi, you can rest easy. You're getting a great deal this month. So hurry in now. Lease the 2025 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross for as low as $27,548. That's $6,000 off. Finance for 36 months with 0% available. You'll also enjoy an available $1,000 trade rebate, plus an available $1,000 loyalty rebate. Don't forget a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. See Cross Mitsubishi in store for details. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Introducing the new McSpicy from McDonald's. It looks like a regular chicken sandwich, but it's actually a spicy chicken sandwich. McSpicy. Consider yourself warned. Limited time only. Participate in McDonald's in Canada.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
It's the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show on Sports 1440.
All right, welcome back. It is the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show here on Sports 1440. Oilers, Islanders, about a half an hour away. Oilers looking to win a game on this road trip. 3-2 losses in Buffalo and New Jersey. Maybe the Islanders will be the cure that they need. Cross Mitsubishi. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today. Drive your ambition. 9605 34th Ave and crossmitsubishi.ca. In case you missed the over-under, we're talking about depth scoring for the River Cree Resort and Casino. 1.5 is the line. Send us a text on the Weiss Johnson text line, 1-833-401-1440. 1.5 is the number. Will the Oilers get over or under 1.5 goals tonight that are not from Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid? Plenty of guesses in, and it's about split right now, over under. Maybe it's optimist, pessimist, glass half empty, glass half full kind of scenario. But send us a text, and you could win $100 at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Landon Ferraro spent some time with the Boston Bruins, Detroit Red Wings, and the Minnesota Wild. Former NHLer, he joins us for Honda Canada here on the pregame show. Want an efficient power play? Meet Honda's 2025 Civic Accord and CRV hybrids. Visit prairiehonda.ca. Good afternoon. How you doing, Landon?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing okay. Although it is a bit, I think probably Greg's agrees with me. It's a bit, Bill Murray. I know you're young. It's a bit of an older movie for you, but little Bill Murray and Groundhog Day. It's
come on,
more so for Greg's. Like
Landon, you've seen Groundhog Day, haven't you?
I've seen Groundhog.
Okay,
I grew up in a house that watched a lot of movies, and I've sadly sat on a lot of buses with a lot of losses. So
a lot of losses, yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of losses. Oh, it's one of them.
All right, so here's the trivia. What song, when he wakes up in the morning, what song is playing on the radio?
I don't know it that well.
Oh, come on.
I honestly would have no idea. I can give you the whole movie. I don't know what song's playing.
It's like the main part of the movie, because you see that scene, like you know what song is playing on the radio when he smashes the radio every morning.
All right, you know what? I can't remember.
It's I Got You, Babe.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
You could have given me a million chances.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have got there.
Me neither.
I don't think either of you guys knows the movie that
I
well.
just know the same day.
Well, I know the movie. I know a lot of the scenes that are funny. I just don't remember that to me is kind of like an insignificant part.
I always felt
that's a very Walker question and trivia out of that.
Shut
If
up.
you don't know the song.
I always love that movie because I think it's a great. Maybe this is me being my own little world. It's a great daydream movie. Like if you could do, and to be honest, I would probably do a lot of the things that he does in the movie, where it's like I'm gonna go to the bar and learn everything about this girl until I can wheel her. Like it's like, you know, he does all these little things to, like, keep himself busy. I don't know if I'd ever learn the piano or learn ice sculpting, but yeah, at the end of the movie, he gets Andy McDowell.
It was a good commitment.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So anyway, Groundhog Day, what was the point of this? Yes, it's just every game's the same. They don't get depth scoring. They're okay. Like the Oilers are good, but not great. They lose 3-2 in Buffalo. They lose 3-2 in New Jersey. It seems like the head coach is a little out of answers in terms of chemistry.
Walks, breaking news. Adam Henrique is playing with McDavid and Hyman tonight. I just want to get that out there. Finally.
Yeah, finally.
My prayers have been
You've
answered.
been asking for it.
Yeah, okay, but here's the problem, right? So you are fist pumping the air, and Donovan Paulson right now is, you know, probably almost careening off the road coming from St. Albert. He's so excited, but like, what do you think's going to happen?
I don't care. All I said is, what do I think is going to happen? Adam Henrique, the one thing he'll do is he'll go to the net.
Right.
He'll go to the net,
Yeah.
and he's got actually good hands around the net. McDavid can skate on the outside, and he'll have a stick on the ice, and he can win some battle. I think, and he's decent enough for responsibility defensively. All I know is it can't be worse than what that line has done lately.
Yeah. I mean, Landon, take it. I tend to agree, although I'm a little skeptical that Adam Henrique saves their season kind of thing.
Well, I mean, I kind of agree on that, but then I also agree with, like, what is the issue of trying it? Like, they've tried everything else. It's not working. And, you know, you throw Nugent Hopkins down, and who knows, maybe his game gets going playing against, you know, other bottom six lines, not getting the harder matchups that McDavid's getting. And who knows, maybe it all kind of gets some people moving. But, you know, just like every other time we talk about these forwards, it's always buts and ifs. Like, someone just needs to get to the net, and pucks need to get there. I mean, Greg, I read your article from earlier. Like, that lays it out pretty easy for everyone to see just the numbers of it. Like, there's not even shots coming from close to the net, let alone guys getting to the net. So when you look at teams that can't score, like, that is the first and easiest thing that you can do. If you're in a rut, just get yourself to the net. Who knows? Maybe one banks off your foot. Like, it doesn't matter. Just, you need to get there.
Landon Ferraro joins us for Honda Canada. Do you have any other, like, you know, insight into, like, these lines or what the team should do? Because it has been a grind.
Honestly, like, I feel like what I'm about to say, I feel like you guys have done the same thing for countless hours this year.
We're very smart, so probably, yes.
Yes, for sure. So, I mean, like, you're looking at it and you're like, okay, well, if this guy goes here, you start moving stuff around. But again, like, I don't see any solution. I think, again, the solution is each guy finding that little bit more in their game. You can't, like, you can move guys around all you want, but if they're not playing to their own identity, like their own personal identity, and especially in the bottom half of that lineup of just getting to the net and being hard to play against, don't try and make the extra passes through the neutral zone or in the offensive zone. Just really simple, straightforward hockey. It doesn't really matter what you shake up the lines to. Like, guys, at the end of the day, they need to be better.
Yeah.
And, I feel like if you said that to any one of them, like, they'd totally agree. Like, they just need to be better. It is that simple. As hard as that is to fix, it's that simple, I think.
I think that's totally true. And sometimes why you change a line is in the hopes that, it will get some guys going, right? It's not like, all of a sudden it's going to guaranteed work. But when it's not going, sometimes you just need some spark and you don't know where it comes from. And who knows? Maybe it'll be Nugent Hopkins and Arvidsson somehow play well together, right? Like, I'm not holding my breath as much as I would for McDavid and Henrique, but that's something to try. And, they put, it looks like they put Corey Perry back up on a line with Draisaitl. Because at least, the one thing Perry's done is he's found a way to score goals, right? So,
because he gets himself to the net. Like, he understands that it's not easy to get in there. Like, you have to take a lot to be able to stand in front of the net and make sure you have positioning and ready for a rebound. But at the same time, if you can put up with that punishment and your teammates are going to get pucks to the net, like, that's where the goals are. There's a reason that Corey Perry has scored for as long as he has.
The lines brought to you by Nisku Ford. Cash in on rebates of up to $9,000 or finance rates as low as 0% during the 2024 model clear out at niskuford.ca. So, Greg's teased it. Henrique is up with McDavid. Here are the lines. Henrique and Hyman flanking McDavid. Draisaitl playing with Perry and Brown. I've said this before. Like, Draisaitl could play with you and I, Greg's, and he's scoring, 40. If he plays with, you and Landon, he's scoring 35. But, Nuge with Podkolzin and Arvidsson, I actually don't mind that line. But again, like, there's been a lot I haven't minded, and then, like, let's see it in action, right? And then Skinner, Kapanen, and Janmark on the fourth line. Max Jones is out. Wallman, Bouchard, Nurse, Stetcher, Kulak, Emberson. And listen, you throw in Kane in this lineup, you throw in Frederick, you throw in Ekholm, perhaps Klingberg. It's better, but this team needs a win, and like you said, at least they're mixing things up tonight.
Well, I just want to see someone play. Sorry, I just wanted to me the one thing, Landon, and you were a guy. You know what? You obviously played at different roles, but you played lots in an energy line role. And when I look,
I thought he was an offensive player. What are you talking about?
He's been an offensive guy, but then he also had to play in an energy role.
Midget.
But you look at it, and like any coach I ever played for said, hey, if you're not scoring, you got to get noticed. You got to do something.
Right.
And I find the Oilers have too many guys who do nothing. And so you're in a funk as a team. Like, it would just be nice to have somebody go outside their comfort zone. Like we saw Podkolzin early in the year in Nashville, had a hell of a tilt. Like, don't go fight Matt Martin, but try to get someone else engaged. Like, do something.
Man, they win every game they fight.
Yeah.
And it's not a direct correlation, but it kind of is.
And honestly, like, and speaking to that of like, you have to do something if you're not scoring. And when I got to Boston, Max Talbot was, at the end of his NHL career and was, kind of up and down from Providence to Boston. And shortly after I got there, he came up, and so I'm on a line with him. So we're chatting, and before our first game, like, I'll always remember him talking and saying, like, hey, like, our goal tonight is we have no zeros. Like, regardless of points, but through the rest of your stat line, like, we don't have zeros. We're going to have a hit at least. We're going to have a takeaway. We're going to have shots. Like, we just have to get ourselves on that score sheet.
Yeah.
And it's funny how when you start focusing on it like that and not just straight results of, okay, like, we want to score. Like, okay, great. Everyone wants to score going into every game, but
hard to do.
Especially for fourth liners, like, that's really hard to do. So how else can you do it? And as soon as he broke it down for me that way, I'm like, that's an achievable thing. Like, every time I go out on the ice, okay, like, I got to get a hit this shift. I need to get a shot on net if we're in the offensive zone. Like, it just broke it down a little bit. And that's something where, again, like, you can't focus straight on results. Like, it's hard not to when you haven't scored in forever, but it's all about the pre-work before that. Like, if you can start getting those, the little stats going, well, before you know it, you're more involved just because you've got those going, and you're going to be around the net. It's impossible not to while you're producing the smaller end stats. So, I just thought that was a really interesting thing. And for this Oiler team, like, that's something for those guys that are trying to get going. Like, that's a pretty good way of looking at it too.
Well, and I can pick, 5-6 guys, obviously on this club that should be the mantra. That should be the message. And I wonder if that message wouldn't help them out. But like, there is a lot of games with, like you said, a lot of zeros. And again, in terms of depth, Greg's, like, again, Janmark and Brown last year were absolute heroes. And what did they do? Like, it's not like they scored 10. They weren't Fernando Pasaning their way around the ice. They were killing penalties. Obviously, it was a historic penalty kill, and they had a couple big shorthanded goals, and They were a net positive. Like a net positive makes you a playoff hero.
Yep.
Right?
Well, you look at the fact that they were on the penalty kill. Like Janmark scored the huge goal in Game 7. Connor Brown scored some big shorthanded goals, and they end up when the playoffs are over, and they're on the penalty kill a lot. The whole penalty kill is -1 in 25 games, like unheard of.
Yeah,
I would love to go try to find another stretch of 25 games where a team went -1 on the penalty kill.
And here you go. Here's new contracts.
Yeah,
boom.
Yeah. Well, Brown only got $1 million.
Yeah, but that was a makeup for getting 4.5.
Yeah.
The year previous, and getting a standing ovation for his first goal of the year. But yes, I think that, and we're none of us are in that room. We don't know what the guys are saying or what the message is, but just like get on the score sheet, make a contribution somehow is all that anybody's asking.
Yeah, and again, like, I'll go again back to that article you wrote earlier today. Like, the fact that the Oilers D were basically shooting from closer distance than the majority of the forward shots coming in, like, it just doesn't. It's that simple. If you're looking at that, you can see this is a big issue for us. And as soon as we flip these numbers, like, just by odds, our game is going to change. And it's so hard. And again, I guess this is a perfect example of, like, it is really hard when you're in the middle of everything. You have so much going through your head, and at the same time, you've dumbed it down in your own brain to, like, I need to go score tonight. And again, like, you get so focused on that end point that you don't realize, as you're watching your shifts from the night before or whatever, that you're like, okay, well, every time I get the puck, I turn away from the net. Like, I don't try and attack. Like, the Oilers love to play a possession game, and when they're playing really good, that is their game. Like, they don't give up the puck even in the offensive zone, and they wait for an opportunity, which is great. But when you're having a hard time even finding those opportunities, you can't turn to the easy ice the majority of times on puck touch in the offensive zone. You have to be able to turn back into things and get into the fire a bit. Like, you got to be able to turn that way. When you turn to the easy ice all the time, there's a reason it's easy ice. It's because once you get pushed out there, like, even if you let in a shot, they're not worried. Their goalie's going to save it.
Yeah. Landon Ferraro joins us for Honda Canada. Before we let you go, just a quick look at the matchups for Napa Auto Parts. So this Islanders team, they didn't sell completely at the deadline, but there's no Brock Nelson. Obviously, he's a big part of this. Duclair is back. They didn't trade Paul Mary, which
I think is dumb. But.
Yeah, no, he's an elder statesman for sure. So how do you think they match up in this game? Like, obviously, must win is a that's a reach, obviously, because the Oilers could lose and it's not the end of the world. But given what we expected on this road trip and where the Islanders are, and they lose their heart and soul in Brock Nelson, like, I do feel like you better win tonight.
I mean, you don't, like, you look at it and you look at their roster and you just, like, I don't see how Edmonton can lose this game. But again, like, as you say, like, let's look at the matchup. Like, the matchup doesn't matter right now. Whether it's the best team or the worst team standing wise, every team is pretty good. And if the Oilers aren't going to be skating and getting on the inside and doing all the things that, we've seen kind of the opposite in the last little bit here, like, matchup doesn't matter. So for them, they're playing a team that, do they have high-end skill up front or really on the back end? There's pieces, but, not anywhere near the type of firepower that more, majority of other teams have, but they work hard and they are still playing, right? Like, they're not going to just lay over or roll over. So for the Oilers, it's about how they come out and how they attack the game, that's more important than who they're playing tonight.
Yeah, and again, at the end of the night, like, the puck has to go in the net. I didn't mind their game in New Jersey. I know, Greg's article, said there wasn't a ton of danger chances, and at the same time, like, I didn't mind their game against Buffalo, New Jersey, but they just find ways to lose. They're just not quite as good in the big moments as the opposition right now.
Well, lately, actually, I would argue that their offense has cost them games. Like, you go back to 3 minutes into the game against Buffalo,
the finishing ability, right?
Connor Brown has a wide open net.
Yeah, it's got to go in
3 feet, 4 feet from the net. 4 feet from the net, for God's sakes. You're an NHL player, man. Like, it's not like it was an inch. The goalie was on the other side of the crease. Like, that's got to be a goal all day long, because you score that goal and your whole team is like, all right, here we go, man. We just won 2 games in a row. Now we're rolling.
And the hard one watching that was, like, he did all the work before it. He got to that far side of the net and then couldn't finish it off. So it's like you've done all that good work, and then it's like you let up on that last second. Like, you see all the net and you don't try and put it through the back. Like, it's a mindset. Like, you have to put it through the back of the net. It doesn't matter if it's open, if the goalie's on the other side. Like, you just can't risk it.
Hey, Landon, thanks for this. This one is going to be an interesting one. Friday night, hopefully Oilers get a big win, and we will have a more of a celebratory post-game show, but we'll talk to you then.
That'd be really nice.
Yeah, why not? Hey? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Landon Ferraro.
Have a good one, Matt.
Former NHLer, brought to you by Honda Canada. As always, meet Honda's 2025 Civic, Accord, and CRV hybrids. Visit prairiehonda.ca. One more break. We'll come back. We will hear from the head coach, Chris Knobloch. He had a little something to say about the matchup today and where the Oilers sit precariously, perhaps, in the standings. And yes, we do have an over-under. I'm getting your text. We will refresh that as well. It is the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show here on the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440.
The pregame show is brought to you by Cross Mitsubishi. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today and drive your ambition. 9605 34th Ave and crossmitsubishi.ca.
Looking at the Alberta weather forecast, wild, unpredictable, brutally tough.
When the weather turns tough, Titan Supply doesn't back down. Titan Supply has been protecting workers from conditions like this for 50 years. We stand tall with you against the elements with the industry's best rigging, hauling, and lifting products to get you home safe. Tire chains, wire rope, round slings, chain slings, and a whole lot more. Titan Supply in Edmonton, Grand Prairie, Red Deer, and Calgary. Online at titansupply.ca. Lift, dig, haul.
From coast to coast, Napa Auto Parts is here to keep your car running longer and stronger, Canada. Did you know that Napa Auto Parts has close to 600 stores throughout Canada and over 90 years of history? Napa offers a wide range of quality replacement auto parts, accessories, supplies, tools, equipment, and proudly keeps Canadians moving day in, day out. With over 85 locations in Alberta, stop into your local Napa store today or visit online at napacanada.com. That's Napa know-how.
Imagine a family get-together where the smiles are as genuine as the conversations. That's the feeling you get at Nisku Ford, a family-owned dealership where finding a new Ford feels just like catching up with old friends.
Stop by the showroom throughout March and April for all the details about Nisku Ford's Keys for 10K giveaway. Just imagine the spring trips, plans, and projects you could pay for.
The coffee's on, so drive into Nisku Ford or visit niskuford.ca today. Above expectations.
The rock you love never dies. It lives on at River Cree Resort and Casino. River Cree Resort and Casino proudly presents the Classic Rock Reunion.
I'm so into you.
Featuring Pure Prairie League, Atlanta Rhythm Section, Orleans, and Firefall. The Classic Rock Reunion. May 17th at the venue at River Cree Resort and Casino. Tickets start at just $69.99 at rivercreeresort.com.
With Johnson, whoa.
Hi, Dennis from Weiss Johnson. We've been family owned and operated for nearly 50 years, a foundation built on trust. Using our extensive experience, we'll make recommendations with your best interests in mind. So while many heating and air conditioning companies offer specials and huge discounts, financing options, and no overtime charges ever, we'll keep doing what we do best, providing you a quote that is honest and transparent, ensuring you get what's best for your family. Visit wjheats.com today.
Are you an HVAC or refrigeration company stressed about meeting your customers' temporary refrigeration needs? No need to worry. The solution is easy. Think Easy Chill Rentals. For repair, maintenance, or even special events, Easy Chill Rentals guarantees you a no-hassle, short or long-term solution for your refrigeration needs. Easy Chill provides mobile walk-in coolers and freezers to customers all over Western Canada. For sales and rentals, don't sweat it, just chill. With Easy Chill Rentals, visit easychillrentals.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
Sports 1440 presents the Cross Mitsubishi Pregame Show.
Before the Oilers and Islanders game, they're going to go in a few minutes, so you got a little extra time here on the Jason Gregor Show. What a read. That was Connor Halley. Unbelievable. That was not pre-tape, folks. That was just one. That was just like, one read, one take. Unbelievable. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. I'm Andrew Walker. We'll be back on the postgame show with Donovan Paulson coming up immediately following the Oilers and Islanders tonight. Cross Mitsubishi Pregame Show, as always. Visit Cross Mitsubishi today. Drive your ambition. 9605 34th Ave, crossmitsubishi.ca. The Weiss Johnson text line is open. It will be open in the postgame show as well. And I see the texts asking about the over-under. It doesn't, I don't know. It's like having a dog, right? It's like all the dog cares about are treats. Like, at the end of the day, it's all the dog cares about. And you people, that's all you care about. Just the over-under. Give me my money. Give me my money. And the over-under was 1.5 is the line. And it situates around the Oilers' depth scoring. So will the Oilers get over or under 1.5 goals from players not named Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid? It's the whole depth scoring issue. Send us a text on the Weiss Johnson text line. You could win $100 at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Quick look at the injury report brought to you by Titan Supply. For the Islanders, Adam Boquist, defenseman they picked up around the deadline, is out. Matthew Barzal, he's been out for a while with an injured kneecap. He may return before the end of the regular season, but Islanders aren't going to the playoffs anyway. And then Semyon Varlamov is out as well. He's unlikely to return this season, meaning Ilya Sorokin gets all the starts for the Islanders. For the Oilers, of course, still no Klingberg, still no Kane, still no Frederick, and still no Matthias Ekholm. Hopefully, some of those guys will be back next week when the Oilers return home. It is the injury report brought to you by Titan Supply, your number one source for rigging supplies in Western Canada. Lift, dig, haul, titansupply.ca. Let's hear from the head coach of tonight's hockey game, Chris Knobloch, brought to you by Easy Chill Rentals. And he was asked today, with the struggles as of late, are you looking at the standings a little more than usual?
Yeah, absolutely. Looking at it a lot more now, during early months of the season, even January. Don't like to look at it too much. I like to look at what our schedule is and how our team's playing, certainly looking at the process. And I think it's really important for us the focus should be on the process, because if we are playing well and doing the right things, we should be winning hockey games. But it's hard not to be looking at the standings and seeing how other teams are doing.
Coach's interview for Easy Chill Rentals. Need temporary or long-term refrigeration solutions for festivals, weddings, or repairs and maintenance? EasyChillRentals.com. So final thoughts, Greg's, before game 3 of this road trip, Oilers Islanders. I will say, there's a lot of negative energy. I do kind of feel an Oilers win tonight. In fact, when I'm feeling that, it's money where my mouth is. To support you, I have an Adam Henrique goal, a Leon Draisaitl goal, and an Oilers win. That's my bet tonight.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's a big one tonight. And here's one last thought. there's been a lot of Bouchard. I actually really liked Bouchard last night. I thought he was quite good. But there's been a lot of Bouchard and Dobson talk. And I would say, and who knows, like whatever. It's one game, so one game could, blow you under the water, and then we all look like idiots. I would not trade Evan Bouchard for Noah Dobson. That's just me.
Well, not straight up, no chance.
No chance. But I mean, there's a cavalcade of people that would do it. But listen, it's just one game. But watch tonight. I think one guy is far worse than the other. Not worse. They're both good players.
Well, they have different skill sets.
Yeah.
Right. I think if you say,
but I'm not trading Bouchard for Dobson.
No. I think Dobson's he's decent offensively, but I think Bouchard's a better offensive player by more than I think Dobson's better defensively. That's how I would view it.
Correct. And to me, it's Dobson's a little safer. He'll go glassing out a little bit more. And that's maybe something that Bouchard could and should do. And at the same time, man, the easy part is being safe. The difficult part is making plays at the NHL level.
Oh God. Yeah, no doubt about that. Bouchard can make a lot of plays, and I agree with you. I thought he had a pretty solid game last night.
Went over either way, point shot plus.
Yeah. Also, Ekholm is everything I'm hearing is he'll be ready for Tuesday when they get back from the road trip. And Trent Frederick is working out now, and the goal is he's going to be on the ice maybe as early as Monday. I'm not sure that'll be with the team though right away. He'll probably have to skate on his own, kind of probably skate with Kane for a day or two, and then maybe get in. I would think earliest for Frederick would be next Saturday. But if you wait, then he gets 3 more, technically 4 days, because you wait Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday till the following Wednesday. I think the following Wednesday is like last check. I think he'll be in for sure, maybe next Saturday.
Yeah, I mean that's good. How excited will that guy be, right? And how excited will everybody be?
Oh, he's going to add an element that they lack.
Yeah, he might get suspended for 15 games for running someone from behind. That's how excited he'll be, right? So. All right, final thoughts on this one. What's your vibe?
Honestly,
what's your vibe? What are the vibes?
I don't know. The orders, the thing is, like, they didn't have, like, the game in New Jersey and Buffalo. It's not like they played awful.
No, I thought they were the better team both nights, but they don't score.
They don't score right now, and they're not doing enough to score. You know what I mean? Like, we have the puck. Okay, well, that's why I wrote the whole thing and looking when 40% of the other team's chances are coming from within 20 feet and you're having like 12%. I don't care if you have more shots. You need more quality shots. So that's, to me, I think if Edmonton's going to win and you're playing Sorokin, who can obviously be very good. But funny thing is, so they got Sorokin in Long Island and everybody hates the Oilers goalies. The Oilers goalies have a better goals against average right now than New York's goalies.
I mean,
slightly 2.98 to 2.9.
I would love Sorokin. I would gladly trade Stuart Skinner for Ilya Sorokin, but he makes $7.5 million. It's just not a thing that's doable. However, I am feeling an Oilers win. I think it's 4-1 tonight on Long Island.
Wow, 4 goals.
Yeah, 4. I know 4 goals, right?
That's the bold
It's an
prediction.
explosion.
Bold prediction.
Yeah.
So
this has been the Cross Mitsubishi pregame show. More of the Jason Gregor Show ahead. Catch myself, Donovan Paulson. We're back on the air immediately following the final whistle of this Oilers victory tonight, right here on Sports 1440. Have a great evening.
Touch base on the Weiss Johnson text line, 1-833-401-1440. Industry changes, possible tariffs. Prices are going higher on Goodman furnaces and AC units, so don't wait. Visit weissjohnson.com.
At Cross Mitsubishi, you can rest easy. You're getting a great deal this month. So hurry in now. Lease the 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage for as low as $15,848. That's $5,000 off. Finance for 36 months with 0% available. You'll also enjoy an available $500 trade rebate, plus an available $500 loyalty rebate. Don't forget a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. See Cross Mitsubishi in store for details. 9605 34th Ave and at crossmitsubishi.ca.
Every morning, you look in the mirror and see less of yourself. Hair loss can feel like losing a part of who you are.
But it doesn't have to be that way. Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. At Advanced Hair and Skin Surgery, we understand the pain of hair loss. Our advanced hair restoration solutions won't just bring back your hair. They'll help you face the mirror with confidence.
Good morning, you sexy beast. Visit drvanceelliott.com today because it's time to be the man you remember.
A direct truth about March. It's not really winter or spring. It's just March. A direct truth about your electricity bill? If you're still on the rate of last resort, now is your last chance to save with Direct Energy. Save over $520 off the rate of last resort on a 2-year plan. Only until the end of March. Terms apply. See directenergy.ca for details.
Customers are free to purchase natural gas services or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call toll-free in Alberta 310-4822.
Are you an HVAC or refrigeration company stressed about meeting your customers' temporary refrigeration needs? No need to worry. The solution is easy. Think Easy Chill Rentals. For repair, maintenance, or even special events, Easy Chill Rentals guarantees you a no-hassle, short or long-term solution for your refrigeration needs. Easy Chill provides mobile walk-in coolers and freezers to customers all over Western Canada. For sales and rentals, don't sweat it, just chill. With Easy Chill Rentals, visit easychillrentals.com today.
This is a slam dunk. Dive into Edmonton's vibrant basketball scene with exclusive interviews and expert analysis. I'm Paul Sir, and I host The Basketball Show every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440.
Come on in. Nissan is proudly celebrating 60 years in Canada, where you can get the versatile Kicks Play for a great price that offers best-in-class fuel economy. It's a great time to press play. Right now, lease the 2025 Kicks Play for the equivalent of $60 weekly for 39 months. Offer includes $1,000 anniversary bonus cash. That's for $261 monthly with 2.95 down at 4.99%. Fuel economy based on highway and combined. Conditions apply. See Nissan.ca for details.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Introducing the Female Super League. Female hockey is on the rise with more women playing the game than ever. Join us as we pave the way for the future of women's hockey. The FSL is more than a game. It's a movement and an experience for the motivated female athlete. Teams will compete in a showcase-style format featuring consistent interprovincial competition. Come be part of the journey as the 2024-25 season unveils a 12U division, as well as the launch of a groundbreaking progressive body-checking 14U division. For more information, visit femalesuperleague.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Oilers. Secure your spot inside Rogers Place for this year's Stanley Cup playoffs by becoming an Oilers full or half season seat holder for the 2025-26 season. Visit edmontonoilers.com/season seats to join the pre-sale list today.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Positive Friday. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, Oilers Nation, YouTube, Facebook, and X. Hope you're having a lovely day. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. $40 million tonight in Lotto Max. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. The Oilers getting set to take on the Islanders. Adam Henrique will get a shot now. We have a lot of texts coming in. Gregor, it doesn't matter. He'll only be there 10 minutes. Well, there is some truth to that potentially. But hopefully Knobloch will have a little bit more patience and just kind of stick with it and say, hey, now, if you're down one goal, 10 minutes left, okay, I get it. But I don't think you always have to load up McDavid and Draisaitl all the time, especially early in a 0-0 game. I thought last night was incredibly premature. Very much so. Very much so. So now, let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical. Building owners, did you know that you can earn a refundable federal tax rebate of up to 30% on a solar project? For example, if you have a $500,000 project, you get a tax rebate of $150K. So it's a pretty big. It's called the ITC. Learn more at actionelectrical.net. As the host of the Lowdown, Alan Mitchell, joins us. LT. Well, and I'm not saying it's going to solve all the problems, but I'm curious to see McDavid and Henrique and if they can rediscover the chemistry they had last year.
Yeah, and it's been like that. I don't know the exact number of minutes they played together this year, 5-on-5, but it's not as much as you would think. Henrique is an interesting player because he and Nuge are somewhat similar, but actually Henrique is, and we've talked about this before, he's a little more talented offensively, maybe a little better scorer. Not that Nuge is struggling this year, but he's been a very fine offensive player over the years. But I I think it's a little bit overdue. We'll see, but I like it, and I think that I agree with your texter there. Like, I think that if you're going to do this, you have to kind of commit to it, not just tonight, but maybe for a longer term. We'll see, but I'm glad they're doing it. I think that, sometimes fresh is better, and this is a different look, and maybe it'll inspire everybody. Who knows?
Well, just all you need right now, all they need is one extra goal, right? Because that could be the difference, because you got so many guys in a funk trying to score, and they're not really generating a lot of what I say are quality chances. Like, you know what? I had it at the Chancellor 7-2. I read Bruce he had it at 8-2 in favor of the Oilers, right? Like, Jake Allen wasn't tested very much last night. Stuart Skinner had to make better saves in that game, specifically odd man rush chances.
Yeah, and you watch tonight and see how. Remember when the Oilers were on, when they were really good, they were crisply moving out of the zone, and not just Evan Bouchard, but Darnell Nurse. Everybody was doing it, and I don't think it's necessarily the defenseman. Everybody chokes on the defenseman, but I think whatever structure the Oilers have is either being read by the opponent, or the forwards are not putting themselves in a position to take a pass from the defenseman that is easy to make. And I think a lot of this team's problem is on breakouts, and they turn the puck over in the neutral zone all the damn time, and that is such a dangerous area to doing it. It just is. And they've just got to spend more time with the puck on their stick, and then count the number of successful tape-to-tape passes tonight. The Oilers are on. There's a ton of them, but lately they've been missing.
Al, I'm totally like passes that they should make in their sleep as NHL players.
Yes,
I agree wholeheartedly with you. Yeah, it's been a problem. To me, the other problem really for the Oilers has been I found like a lack of traffic. Like, I look at the 2 goals New Jersey scored. Well, really all 3 of their goals last night all came from traffic in front of the net, and the Oilers don't do enough of it. Like, they did it with Darnell Nurse in Buffalo, and I'm kind of like, why don't you do it more? Like, you just don't see guys like that. Layered screen that New Jersey did was like a perfect layered screen. Like, it was textbook. It was great. And you don't see that from Edmonton very often. I don't know, teams have different styles, but some point, like, you've got to ask your bottom 6 guys to get to the middle of the ice more often.
Yeah, it's true. And I think that the Oilers could be, a little better at defending that too, like clearing the way. I don't think they're trying to block the shots, but if they are, just let the goalie see the puck, and on the other end of it, make life difficult for the opposition goaltender. And they don't really do that. They're so talented, but I think sometimes they get in their own brain about maybe not going to those areas that are difficult, and you're going to get hammered. But who cares if you put the puck in the net? And maybe it's just a reminder. It's a long year, and sometimes you just kind of get into this is what we've always done mentality. But they could be a lot more creative, I think, with and without the puck, honestly.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. You look at Edmonton, and like, I know there's a lot of people that are like, oh my God, like they're not a competitor anymore. And I think that's a little bit too mature. Are they not playing up to their standards? Yes. Do I still think they're capable of finding more? Yes. Where do you come out?
My chief concern for this team right now, honestly, is that I think that a team like New Jersey, and we saw with Anaheim recently, they seem to be like outskating the Oilers. Not every shift, and not every defenseman, and not every forward. But I think the Oilers, really, I think that at some level they've got maybe just 1 or 2 too many forwards who are just not fast enough. And maybe it's not fast, maybe it's quick. I don't know. And and even with that, as I say it, like, Corey Perry's not fast, but man, he just does not make mistakes very often, right?
Yeah.
So there's that too.
Yeah.
So I just feel like the Oilers are sort of putting themselves in a position where they're in chase mode, and the coverage was the frustrating thing is same coach, same team earlier this year. They were crisp passes. They were doing everything right, and they lost the plot, and they cannot seem to get it back, which is really too bad, because this really is a very good team, and a lot of fantastic players are in their prime. And I love the deadline. I think Stan Bowman had a really good deadline.
Yeah, it'll be better when Frederick plays, and it sounds like it's getting closer. He's working out now. The goal is to have him on the ice next week. I think usually the guys like his first skate wouldn't be with the team. At least historically, that's how it's been. So I'm probably guessing maybe he skates with Kane and joins the team at some point next week. And so to me, that's like earliest Saturday. I think worst case scenario, it's the following Wednesday that you'll see Frederick in the lineup.
Which is good. Where would you put him, Jason?
Now that's a great. I have, to me, you got no left winger scoring with Leon Draisaitl. That's where I would start him. When I spoke to Stan Bowman last week, I kind of after the conversation, I was like, I think they're going to start him at center, and I guess so. Like maybe his style of game, he plays better. When he's center, okay, fine, but I would like at some point to see him with Leon Draisaitl, just because now I know he's not a huge big time scorer, but he's, his 17, 18 goals. And we've seen Patrick Maroon wasn't a big time scorer until he got with McDavid, and then he figured out how to play with him. And man, if Draisaitl could get someone who can finish some of those plays on the left wing, that'd make a huge difference.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that they don't give up on Podkolzin next year, because he started well and then he stopped scoring, but just teach him to go to the net. Bring Ryan Smith back from Nashville or wherever he lives now. That's a player who he doesn't have natural talent, but Maroon became a better player in the AHL, and then he emerged as what he was. And I think that I have, not this year, but I have hope that Podkolzin can do that. And Frederick's a little more, I think he's more talented. I watched him a lot in Boston. I think, when he plays with a good center, he's an excellent complementary player. I like the Draisaitl idea, because he can be a rugged player on the Draisaitl line, and he can cycle. There's a lot of things they could do together, I think, effectively.
Al, looking at the kind of where the Oilers are going, you talked about their decision making with and without the puck. Obviously, needs to improve. Is there one other? When I look at Edmonton, I think, and I know power plays across the league are down. I understand that. So I'm not expecting to even get to last year's level, but I still find Edmonton needs to do more. And part of it is I still think they make it easier on teams to not take penalties on them.
That's true. That's a good point. And I do think there's a, I'm not going to say woe is me, but I think the Oilers do get frustrated when they don't get calls. And that happens, because, you could call a penalty on McDavid every shift, and that's frustrating to see. And Draisaitl too gets hooked and hacked and they don't call it, but you just got to play through that, and eventually you will get the call. And they have so many smart players. Corey Perry is one of the smartest players I've ever seen, and I knew that before he got here, but every game he plays, he reminds me of that. They have the ability to do that. They just have to work at it. And I think that they also have to their penalty kill is they're so talented. So it's more volume than worry about whether they or not they can cash on the power play. So they've got to get more volume, but that means going to those tough areas we talked about, and maybe getting slashed and hacked in an obvious way. There is a luck factor too, and I think that the Oilers they've played in some bad luck, I believe. Now, whether or not that continues, I don't know. But as you said, a lot of one goal games and that sort of thing. You can call it, hard work or whatever, but a certain amount of that is luck. They really haven't gotten a break here recently. Maybe they get one tonight and win a 1-goal game. That's part of it too. But just being a little more physical and then causing enough ruckus to make a penalty call, I think they need more volume power plays.
100%. Now, where would you play Frederick?
I'd play him with Leon.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I love Nuge. I don't want to be critical. I don't think Nuge is having a very good year on the McDavid line. And so I've always liked the idea of Henrique up there. So play them 10 games together, and then play Henrique 10 games with Draisaitl. And don't switch off so much, and just let them develop chemistry, because, McDavid and Draisaitl are really smart players. I don't think it's overly difficult to play with them, but it does take a little bit of time to recognize and kind of read and react. And, one of the best players I saw, he wasn't terribly talented, but he was really good at reading and react with Draisaitl, was Kata Yamamoto. And Frederick's not that player, but physically, Frederick could do a lot of things that a guy like Yamamoto couldn't. And he can think the game pretty well. So I would be pretty excited about that opportunity. Plus, I think Frederick's physical play would play better on the Draisaitl line. And I like Henrique with McDavid because he's such a smart player and he's a veteran.
Yeah, the thing about Frederick, I think his style is going to be similar to Pod Cole's and a little bit more abrasive with a little bit better finish.
That's the hope, and I do think he has better finish. He has played well, not this year, but Jason, the Bruins were a train wreck this year. I'm not kidding. Anybody who gets out of there, you can't look at their stats this year. Go back 2 years and look at Frederick when he was playing like at a higher level, but his center was too, and they had better outlets from the defensemen. That team has been just decimated with injuries and their trades now. They traded a lot of the roster away, but I do think that Frederick will impress people. I think I think Oilers fans will love him because he's not you'll notice him physically. You will notice him.
Oh, yeah, sure. He's not going to be a guy that you're like, hey, is he in the lineup? So that'll be good. Al, have yourself a great weekend. We'll chat with you on Monday.
You too.
It's Alan Mitchell, host of The Lowdown, right here every day, noon to 2 on Sports 1440. Oilers Islanders. Hey, good news, Oilers fans. McDavid and Draisaitl are still on separate lines. So that's a good start for them. Draisaitl's been all over the ice, but no goals yet. The first, 8 minutes into that game, 9 minutes. We'll get to Connor Halley and a Sports 1440 update. Wishing you all a great weekend. Please don't drink and drive. Don't be inebriated. Get home safe. Be smart. Let's get to the Command Sports 1440 update brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Did you know they're hiring? You want to work for a great company? You can get matching RSPs. You get tuition reimbursement. Even get a signing bonus. You're the right candidate. Go to legacyheating.ca and find out.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Edmonton Oilers in action out in New York, taking on the Islanders right now, midway through the first period. Currently scoreless. Once it wraps up, tune into Sports 1440 for post-game coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Only one other game underway right now. Alex DeBrincat's 31st of the season as the Red Wings on top of the Canes 1-0. Later tonight, Stars taking on the Jets, Flames host the Avs, Preds in Anaheim, and the Kraken taking on the Hockey Club. In the association, 3 games are underway. Celtics lead the Heat 43-39. Pacers trail the Sixers 43-27. And it's early, but the Hawks on top of the Clippers 15-13. Later tonight, the Toronto Raptors in action. They'll take on the Utah Jazz. You also have the Suns and Kings, Lakers in Denver, the Spurs up against the Hornets. For the BCHL, Spruce Grove Saints are on the road. They'll take on Penticton. That one gets going at 8 o'clock in the Edmonton area. You got the Sherwood Park Crusaders hosting Cranbrook. Puck drop at 7. In the AJ, Devon is in Bonnyville. Lloyd takes on GP. Drayton Valley in Whitecourt. Calgary meets Drumheller. And Olds hosting Canmore. Some news from out east. Pandas volleyball defeating Memorial in straight sets. They now advance the U Sports semifinal where they'll meet Montreal tomorrow night. And needing to add some depth at the wide receiver position, the Seattle Seahawks are adding former Rams receiver Cooper Kupp. It's a 3-year deal worth $45 million. That'll do it for us here on the Jason Gregor Show. Coming up next, we've got Fox Sports Radio. And a reminder, once Oilers Islanders wrap up, tune in for post-game coverage with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.